Man these shields, boys! Remember this day, men, for it will be yours for all time.
Welcome to the night zone, hear the warriors speak. Life's the battlefield and we ain't feeling weak. From love to the game and the power we seek. Got a voice so strong, breaking every peak. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Talk of love and battle scars, everything that's real. From touchdown to sermon, you know the deal. Strength in every word we begin to reveal. Truth in every tale as our lives we unveil. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave. Politics and prayers, ain't no subject we shun. Keep it real, keep it raw till the battle's won. Fitness tips to faith, every topic under the sun. With honor and valor, every man's battle begun. Warriors with words, swords through the air. Every point sharp and every talk fair. Knights at the round table, come and pull up a chair. Join the brotherhood, words laid bare. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave. Warriors with words, swords through the air. Every point sharp and every talk fair. Knights at the round table, come and pull up a chair. Join the brotherhood, words laid bare. Protect and provide, we're knights in the fray. Nothing off limits, we got something to say. Life and love, fitness and fight all day. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave. Guys Night Podcast, let's ride the wave.
I did accidentally go to an AA meeting one time. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Save that.
I can tell you that story.
I just hit record
It is.
5 seconds before.
Yeah. I can tell you about my accidental AA meeting. Yeah, it's a really funny story.
Wrong type of drugs.
Yeah, wrong type. Yeah.
Well, if we're recording, like let's warm up with your.
You want to hear the story? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, long story short, I got into like a fight when I was a kid, and I got it was originally assault charge, but got pled down to disorderly conduct or whatever. But I had to attend these anger management meetings. So I went to these meeting for the first time. It was at St. Thomas Hospital, and I walk in, I sit down, and I look around, and everybody starts getting up, like, oh, my name's Tom, and I'm addicted to heroin. And I'm like, oh, fuck, man. These dudes are pissed and fucked up, dude. Like, I might be angry, too, if I was addicted to heroin, right? And my name's Joe. I'm addicted to cocaine, and or my name's Tim. I'm an alcoholic. They get to me. I'm like, I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just here because the court made me. And they're like, no, you're here for sure. Like, you're supposed to be here. Like, of course you're addicted to something, you know? And, we pan it down. Yeah. So long story short, I figured out I was in the wrong room. Anger management was like 2 doors down.
The first time I got my DUI, I was like 21, 22. I just got back from the military. And my dad's like, you're coming to an AA meeting with me. And my dad had been sober for like 14 years. So I'm like, all right. And he's like, they come around to like, I got to introduce myself. And I'm like, do I say I'm an alcoholic?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I got a DUI. I'm not an alcoholic. I just hope this would look good for the judge.
Yeah.
And I'm like, as soon as I said it, I'm like, my name's Will, and I'm an alcoholic. And they're like, thanks, Will, or whatever they do. And I'm just like,
yeah.
I'm like,
All together now.
yeah, I'm
no,
like,
that's
this is so
legitimately
fucking awkward, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
Thanks, Will. Yeah. And they clap for you. Like,
Yeah, like they're all excited that you came out.
hey, thanks. I'm a total degenerate. Oh, congratulations. Yeah.
Did you get a chip?
No, no
one
chip.
Day, one day sober. That's it.
No, I didn't get a 1 day sober chip. It was funny though. I was in there and there's like 3 of my friends from high school's dads in there, and I'm just like, I knew it. I knew it.
Man, what a great place to find party friends.
Yeah. And dude, the funny part was like at the anger management one, there were like people like coupling up, you know, like women and men like were like, oh, they were like finding love in that anger management thing. I'm like, this doesn't seem like a recipe for a long lasting, you know, relationship.
2 people in anger management.
Yeah.
Like what could go wrong?
What could go wrong there?
Next week they have a black eye.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's
All right.
that's sex life though.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying
Yeah.
my brother-in-law works in an addiction clinic, and like that's like what they feed their addiction with is sex. He's like, dude, the fucking people that come through here and get sober for the first time, like you have to watch them. They'll like sneak off in the middle of the day into bathrooms, into fucking hallway closets, like don't give a fuck. Like I was like,
Where's this place? I'm
What a great place to meet someone.
right. I'm sure once again, you're probably gonna find the best type of quality person in there.
Yeah.
Love for sure.
Absolutely.
Way to, you know, marry up.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
Wait,
where'd
you
you
have
guys
to-
meet?
Yeah.
Well, it was heroin for her.
Yeah.
It's cocaine for me.
Yeah. Now we just both drink and fuck.
And then we do cocaine at the end. It's awesome. Oh shit. All right, well let's get this started. So greetings everybody. Welcome to the Guys Night Podcast, episode 10. I'm here with some friends this evening. We're gonna talk a little bit about fitness, talk about the gym life, and I've got a ton of questions. I'm sure everybody else does. So let's just start to my right. Nick, welcome, and go ahead and introduce yourself, man.
My name is Nick Montaquila. I Beefcake 19 on Instagram, so if you want to follow me. But I'm an amateur bodybuilder, and I coach bodybuilders, amateur, and I've coached a couple pros. You know, my full-time job, I do sales. My family owns a commercial tire company, so I sell tires along with my coaching, and then I do some like dabbling in like competitive cards and stuff on the side for like a side hustle for Magic the Gathering, if anybody knows what that is. Big nerdy thing. So
I was actually just in Pittsburgh this week, and they were having the Magic the Gathering thing at the conference center.
yeah, Eternal Weekends. Yeah, it's a huge tournament. Dude, they play with decks there that are like $40,000-$50,000 easy. Like, yeah, for like 60 cardboard cards. You know. So.
Talking about Magic the Gathering, I was actually at Sweets and Geeks a little bit ago, and I bought a bunch of cards from there for Magic the Gathering.
Dope, dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 virgins in this.
Yeah.
Well, hang on. I was there because the conference center was where my daughter's cheerleading competition was.
Yeah.
Oh, we
Next
got
door.
Next door. Yeah. I just happened to go in and play in the tournament. It's weird.
We got 1, 2, 3 virgins in the room.
Yeah, but that's like my side hustle. So my daughter plays this game I got into. It's called Lorcana. It's a Disney game. It's a new one. They just came out with it. They've been having these DLCs. They're called Disney Lorcana Challenges, and they sell out in the first like 5 minutes, and they get 2,000 people to fly to whatever city it is to do it. They sell out in the first 5 minutes, 2,000 people. And the winner of the so many top 8 players, or whatever, the DLC gets to go play at Disneyland in California or Paris, depending on if you're in Europe or North America. And then the people that win that get to go to play in Disney World in Florida, and they have like all this expenses included, vacations, and one of the prize cards that you can win, and I just sold for a kid. It was like $12,000. So
Holy shit.
yeah, one card, $12,000, dude.
I mean, cards are no joke. Like,
Yeah, these guys take that shit seriously,
Yeah.
for sure. So
Virgins make a lot of money.
yeah, we're here to talk about health and fitness. I'm like, all right, I want magic cards. But yeah, that's like my like side thing. But I'm kind of like a big nerd on the side, so that kind of actually to like come full circle relates to bodybuilding, because everything I do in bodybuilding, I have to understand why, you know, and I nerd out on like the science behind training, the science behind the pharmacology of bodybuilding, the science behind the food, the sleep, the recovery. So I think that makes me a little bit better bodybuilder, understanding why.
right on. Brandon, tell us a little about yourself, man. Welcome aboard.
What's up? Yeah, name's
Pull that thing a little bit closer to you. Sorry.
That's what she said. Yeah, so my name is Brandon Nagy. I've been working out. I'm 27, so started getting into like this type of stuff
when I was 19. 19, I started doing my first like competitions, so I just stuck with it. Of course, I don't lose, so I was like, why the fuck should I not do it if I continue to win? I mean, that was my mindset going into it.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm 19. Let me do a teenage competition because I feel like I'm going to win anyway. So I got a coach, stuck with him, still with him. Been doing it ever since.
Right on.
All that other fun stuff. So, I mean, I like just like Nick here too. I kind of like the science around it.
Yeah.
That's like the main thing about it. I mean, like the recovery, what to eat. I especially love the food. There's like the science of the food, what you should eat, what you can eat, how long out that you should do it when you're doing your competitions, why you eat that, why not eat anything. I mean, do you believe in macros or no?
I believe it's important to know your macros, but I'm not a macro counter. No,
I agree too, to an extent. I always hear people with like the macro count.
Yeah.
We'll probably get into it a little bit later. I believe like the food is like the main
Correct.
thing,
Yeah.
other than all that other food
You have all the
stuff.
micronutrients and stuff in it that are important.
Right.
So.
And then it's also cool too, like getting into this. I'm not a virgin, so I mean that's why I like doing this shit. But yeah, like my personal life though is I'm a finance manager, so I run a few car dealerships up here in the Cleveland facility.
Oh, yeah?
And then right after that, just working, 11, 12 hours a day. I need some type of therapy. So then I just go to the gym, raw dog. I never wear any headphones, just look at myself in the mirror, be like, you're a little fucking bitch. And then I just fucking go. So that's how I like it.
That's awesome, man. All right, Evan, welcome back.
Yeah, this is I am Evan Elvey. This is eighth time I've been on the podcast.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I think about eighth
So
time.
many times.
I am 35. I'm a salesman for beverage distributors. I work for I sell Miller Lite, High Life, White Claws, stuff like that. I'm also a photographer on the side. So
Right on.
and I'm also a power lifter.
Oh, okay. All right.
Kick ass. Well, I'm David. I'm just awesome.
Fair enough. Well, let's get into this, man. I'm pretty excited to have you guys on. You know, it's great that you guys both started to go into the nutrition aspect of it. Personally, I mean, I've worked on and off my entire life, from high school football to being in the military, and then I got fat and got married, and then divorced and got fit again because all of a sudden it was like, shit, how do you get chicks if you're in fucking fat shape, you know?
Bro, that happens all the time. Like,
yeah.
I had one of my very first clients, the dude was 40 years old, about 40, and his wife left him because he got fat and found some other guy. And so he's like, I want to get in shape, right? And so like, oh, I'll put you in shape. But then like he's like going on Tinder and meeting all these chicks, and he's having a hard time eating on the meal plan and going out with all these bitches all the time. This is a real problem, huh? He's like, yeah. He's like, so we had to come up with a whole like custom plan for him where like we basically like said, when you go out on dates, you're gonna pick which restaurants you go to so you can make sure you eat like the cleanest option. You know, we're gonna have a little extra cardio in the morning, and we're not gonna drink a bunch of sugar loaded drinks. If you have a drink, you're gonna have like a vodka soda water or a bourbon and Diet Coke or something like that. So I mean, that's the thing too, is me and Brandon are bodybuilders, so we are probably much more strict because we compete.
Sure.
But for normal people, like, there's lifestyle things that you can do too to like make it so it fits your goals. You can achieve your goals, but also like still be able to go fuck bitches on Tinder. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and here, let me rephrase that too, because obviously when I wanted to start working out, it wasn't necessarily because like that's what I thought it was going to take to just get a girl. It was also the fact that like when you're married, you get caught into that rut, like of where you're working, you have kids, you have family, you have all these other things going on, and then you realize that like every time you take an hour or two or whatever at the gym, like it takes away from how you're able to do those things. And I think at that point I was like 26 years old, and I just 26 to 28, I just wasn't great at structuring my life. At that point I was running multiple stores as well as far as dealerships, so it's easy to get in that you're there 12 hours a day. You're worn out when you get home, and then you come home to the kids or the family and stuff like that. And it was after that where I was like, you know what, I'm never going to let myself go again, because everybody here knows that once you let yourself go to a certain point, it's so much harder to get back. But I've never gotten to the point where like bodybuilding or competitions or things like that were something that I wanted to do. But I am sitting here at 42 years old, like, man, I would really like to get that like last little bit and have a six pack. I'm at a six pack since I was like 18, 17 years old. Like, but at the same point in time, like I work out like a boss when I'm at the gym. I fucking do all these other things, but I don't eat necessarily right. I don't. I try to do things better based off of what I try to stay away from processed foods and shit like that, but I don't necessarily go and like do the details on like macros and things like that. And then also, I mean, you're married. I'm interested to hear your story. Are you with somebody right now, Brandon, or are you by yourself?
Yeah, his
I have a
name's
few.
Tom.
You have a few?
Nah, yeah, it's just me.
So I'm interested how like, and I know a little bit about your story, but I'm interested like, okay, well, when you started like, I'm going to start eating this way. Obviously, when you have a wife and kids, like they don't want to fucking eat fucking the same shit you're eating every day at the same time and stuff like. So I'm interested to hear how that turned out or what that's like now. So, yeah, I mean, what got? Let's start with you, Nick. When did you really start working out? And then what took it to the next level where you're like, I want to be a bodybuilder?
Yeah, so for me, like all through my 20s, I just watched Rich Piana and Jay Cutler and all these like big dudes. I just want to be big, right? So I was in good shape pretty much all the way through my 20s. And then in when I was, I want to say like 28, I tore my bicep and I like kind of fell out of the gym scene for a while, for like about a year. I was just afraid to lift and stuff or whatever. I was married at that point in time. I've been with my wife for 12 years. We've been married for 6. So, so yeah, so I got kind of comfortable, like you were saying. You get kind of complacent, and like I had other things in life I was doing and stuff. So I just kind of about a year and a half, I just ate and drank until I got like super fat. I looked like shit. Yeah, and then I remember I went paddleboarding with a friend of mine. Her name's Kelly Bailey. She's like a local like fitness trainer, coach person, really cool. And we took pictures afterwards. I looked at the picture. I'm like, is that really me, dude? Like, am I really that fat? And I was like, I need to do something about this. So I talked to my wife about it, and there was a guy up at my gym that was like a bodybuilder that was a coach, and I was like, I just need to hire him for diet. I know how to train, whatever. And he's like, nah, I don't do that. He's like, you got to do the whole plan or nothing. I'm like, okay. So I talked to my wife. She's like, whatever you want, whatever you do, as long as you stick to it. She's like, I'm fine with you hiring a coach. So at that point, I hired a coach. It was just to lose weight. I wanted to get back in shape like I was in my 20s.
So hold on, let's talk about that process a little bit. One, how much was it going to cost you? Because obviously that's a part of it.
Sure.
Two, you know, he talked about the whole program. So what does that include when you hire a coach?
Yeah.
And let's hear about that part of it.
Yeah. So this specific program was,
and you're welcome to give shout outs to anybody if they don't, you know.
Yeah, no, it was, the guy was really, really cool dude. His name was Brian Melvin. I think he's pretty sure he still trains out of Accelerated Fitness. Really, really nice guy. Kind of got my spark into it. He charged me, I want to say like $200 a month at the time. And you got one training session a week with him. And then he programmed my diet, my nutrition, my supplement plan, my gear plan. So all the PEDs I was going to take. He helped me with that, which was super good because I didn't know a lot at the time.
So were you starting off with PEDs like immediately?
Yeah, well, I took some in my 20s. Like I was like a experimental person in my 20s, and then I actually quit cold turkey, which is like one of the worst things that you could do.
So you are gay.
I am gay. Yeah. So he would help me kind of. That was my first introduction into like someone that could mentor me into what to actually take, and then and it kind of snowballed from there. But yeah, so that's what the kind of the plan looked like. I would check in with him throughout the week or whatever. He didn't have like weekly check-ins, which I usually recommend for if you're looking for a coach. He was a little bit more casual about it, but like 'cause I would see him all the time. But if you're looking for a coach, I would really recommend a coach that would have weekly check-ins where they take 10, 15, 20 minutes a week to look at you. Send them an email with photos and your weight or whatever they ask you to send, and then they can make adjustments to your plan. And so I think that's super important. But yeah, so that's what it cost, and then and kind of what it entailed. And I just kind of ran with it at that point. Like I just ate everything he told me to eat. It was really super simple, actually. I ate the same things for like 4 meals. I ate rice from Uncle Ben's 90-second rice bags. I would like weigh it out, and then I ate cans of chicken. I would like rinse it out and get all the salt out, and I'd put a little bit of hot sauce or something like that on it. Literally ate that for like 4 meals, and then I had a different breakfast and a different last meal, like dinner.
That sounds fucking awful.
Yeah, dude, it was mindless. I just picked up the food and ate it. I never thought about anything. And to this day, I have my cooler over there with food, you know, that
Yeah.
I just eat it, you know.
Well, so before we get to you, Brandon, I do have a quick question, and Brandon, you could step on this too. So obviously, you're talking about Uncle Ben's rice, which is fucking ultra processed and probably terrible for you as many fucking ways as that it might be okay for you. But like, does that play into effect when you're talking about like, I need X amount of protein, I need X amount of stuff? Are you looking to see like what else is in there that could cause health issues or things like that?
So like the 90-second rice, I don't think is as processed as you think. It's way less processed than like most other options, I would say, because there's not a lot of extra added stuff in there. Usually they have a little oil or something, but it's not that bad. It's one of the more friendly, like diet friendly things that you can eat. I don't think you're going to get super fat or unhealthy eating Uncle Ben's rice. You eat cereal, like some Cocoa Puffs. That's a different story. But what do you think, Brandon?
I was good. Yeah, the only rice I've ever freaking had was just Costco.
There you go.
I go to Costco at least every 5 days. I just leave work. I'm going to Costco, grab my chicken, grab all my stuff, and then go back.
But have you ever had like the microwave rice, like the
little 60-minute ones?
Yeah.
I mean, back in like high school or something.
Oh shit! I do that all the time.
So
I still do that sometimes.
Oh,
So-
dude, when I meal prep, dude, I mean, I meal prep everything. Probably takes like for 5-6 days. But man, I got one thing for freaking everything in my house. So I get everything done in like 40 minutes.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to your story a little bit, Brandon, then we'll get back to where that led Nick. But 19 years old, you decided. Now, were you lifting before 19? Like, were you lifting like a couple years before that, a little bit here and there, like just hobby?
Just like a little bit. Like in high school and college, I wrestled a little bit.
Okay.
And I played football a little bit, and then like after getting fourth at states in wrestling. I started working out more. I'm like, I like food, so I stopped that and I started like working out a little bit more. But I didn't know like what the hell I was doing. Shit, I ate the pizza. I mean, I ate whatever. And my Go-Gurts, like mom packs my meals or whatever the hell. And until like my last year of college or whatever, I was like 19. And then I was like, whatever. I'm a teenager, like I said. Let me just do a show. Right, because I already know I'm gonna essentially win. I would feel good. Got a coach. I literally just Brian Hoydick. Literally at the time, I just needed somebody to train me how to pose because I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
Right. So that was what I was like. I just want to pose. He's like,
Try to get a little bit closer to the mic.
Oh,
But sorry.
bad. So and then he was like, just like do the whole thing. It'd be good. You're on the team plan. Just do it that. I'm like, nah, just use me for posing. Then I'm like, it's my first time. I'm only gonna do one show. Might as well go all out, right? So, and thank God, because I didn't know shit. I thought I knew what the hell to do, like to cut weight, because wrestling. I mean, you go out with all the buddies the night after wrestling, you gain 9 pounds, and you got to lose it all back.
Right.
But dude, the process was so different. I just got hooked on it. So then I just kept on going from there. So everybody's like, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. I mean, it's just like a lifestyle from this point. I mean, 9 years of my life and I'm 27. So I mean, there's 33% of my life is already.
Yeah, you've been doing the same thing. So let's talk about your meal prepping and stuff like that. Because at that point, you said you were kind of just doing whatever. You got with the coach. Did they start talking to you at that point about how to prep for meals and how to because there's a process leading up to shows, right? I'm assuming.
Right.
Because it's not like you just live year round cut. Right. So. Did they?
If so, then I look sexy as fuck right now.
So is there like a process as to like what you're doing with food leading up to it? Does your coach kind of walk you through diet plans and what did that kind of look like? And you mentioned Costco, so obviously you have a different outlook on the 90-minute rice or 90-second rice outlook. So let's hear a little bit about kind of what that is for you too.
Yeah, it's actually been weird because I've done ever since 19. I want to say maybe 8 shows.
Okay.
I normally take a year and a half off, cut for 12, 14 weeks, then do another show. But like my first year or two, I think I did like 5.
5 shows?
Yeah, my first year, I think I did 3.
Oh,
and
wow.
The next year, I did 2. So yeah. And
Holy
then
shit.
just after that, I kind of learned to it's a slow roll. So then I usually do about 1 every year and a half. I usually do 1. But in every single prep, since whatever the time, diets has changed dramatically for me. Like the very first time I didn't know like what I was doing. I was 19. So some of the meals were just rice cakes and a protein shake, right? Or 1 cup of rice and of course like 8 ounces of chicken or whatever. And then this lifestyle too has changed me too because I used to be a picky as hell kid. Like I've never had blueberries till this. I've never had like spinach, grapefruit, like anything, mushrooms. So like added like all that stuff in because it's just crazy how different things do different things to your body.
Sure.
And then some preps, right? If you bulk a lot, got fat as shit, then of course you have less carbs, less doing this stuff. But my favorite prep was the last one I did last year, roughly around this time. Literally, easiest prep of my life. Only did like 20 minutes of cardio a day. I had carbs the whole entire time. I had 5 guys every other day.
Holy shit.
I was losing way too fast. And usually every prep, I usually lose around roughly like 50 pounds.
Wow.
So in about 12, 14 weeks.
Holy shit. That's intense.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. And normally, that's roughly what I usually do.
So is that like that's normal for you? So that's how your body's kind of reacted to it.
Rather, when I was my first show, I think I weighed like 140s. I probably started at like once. I was probably like 170, 180 at the time.
Okay.
And then my next show, let's say I got 150s, and the last show I did was like in the 60s. So every single time, it's usually about 50 pounds.
Damn, that's insane. So what do you weigh right now?
204.
204. And then what? Do you have a show in mind in the future, or
No, I just know one next year eventually.
one next
I'm
year?
not quite too sure which one.
Okay. Nick, what about you? Are you doing shows right now, or are you?
I want to try to. So I have not competed like nearly as much as Brandon. He's got a lot more experience on stage than I do. But I try to do like really tough shows. Like that's one thing that I always like thought. Like I really want to go and compete, because sometimes you go to these shows, dude, and it's like two people in your class, you know, and and the other guy's out of shape, and you just get a trophy. It's like, dude, I didn't diet 16, 18 weeks to show up here and beat some schmuck. You know what I mean? Like I want to battle it out. So like my last show I did was in Pennsylvania and Lancaster. It was a PA Muscle. And there were
That's a pretty big show, isn't it?
yeah. Well, that year was. This year was a little down, but last
That's not that's not Think Pink, right?
no. Yeah, the PA Muscle. Yeah, it's right before North Americans, and they give you a free ride to North Americans, which is like a national level show if you win the overall there. And I showed up there, and there was like I think 14 guys in our class, and probably 10 to 12 of the 14 could win overalls at other shows. Like they were all in shape. I walked backstage, I'm like, holy shit, where did they find all these people?
Yeah.
And I ended up getting third, which when I was in the first call, I got third. I was like actually pretty happy with it based on the people that are there. Both the two people that beat me are pro now, so like I can't really complain, you know. The dude who won the overall, his name's Elias McCall. He's huge. He was a super heavyweight, and he was tanning at the same time as me, and I was walking back to get tan. I'm like, fuck, dude.
Nice
I'm like,
guy.
dude. He was so huge. I was like, he looked like a pro. He turned pro like 2 weeks later.
Right.
And I'm like, in open bodybuilding, which is the hardest category. And I saw him backstage. I'm like, you just want to hand him the trophy now or what? You know,
Yeah, like
nobody's
just-
beating this dude.
Yeah.
So yes, I've only competed twice. But so that being said, next year, I really want to try to make a national run next year. So I'm going to do probably a warm-up show. We're not sure if we're going to do North Americans or nationals next year. It just depends on how the rest of the offseason goes. So I'll probably do a show like late spring, early summer, and then kind of take a little bit of a break, and then come back for North Americans and try to see if I can't compete for a pro card. So,
Right on.
Yeah.
Before we get into like the next episode, you guys got any questions down there or anything that you want to bring up, or
Not for me.
No?
So far. Yeah, I've been around most of that. I've seen some of the shows that Nick's have been in. So
yeah?
yeah.
Yeah, it's
Let him know he had a nice cock too.
Muscular ass.
glutes are shredded.
Bro, speaking of your ass, dude. All right, so when we worked out together at Rise, I would see this motherfucker walk around the fucking gym in his fucking thong all the time, right? And I was like, thank God he's gonna start working out at this new gym. You guys saw Craig was on last week, the owner of Warehouse Gyms.
Yeah.
And I was like, he's like, yeah, I built a posing room. It's fucking awesome. It's got multiple mirrors, great lighting. Guys can go in there, pose, practice for the show. I just seen you on the Warehouse Gym fucking story this morning in the middle of the fucking gym, walking around in your fucking thong. What, dude? Come on.
So number one,
At least you don't have a pumpkin on your ass.
yeah,
like
that's
I
right.
do.
Yeah, I don't have
I have
that.
a tattoo on my ass.
Get the fuck out of
So
here.
when I'm on stage, I'm like, "What's up, bitches?"
Shut the fuck
It's a
up.
pumpkin. It's really yeah.
Wait, hold on a second. What's the story between a pumpkin on your? Are you fucking serious? You have a
So
pumpkin
when
on your
I was
ass?
when I was 16, I wanted a tattoo. My mom and I were in Arizona and shit, and she let me get a tattoo, but it had to be a pumpkin because she calls me Pumpkin, and there's no manly place to put a fucking a pumpkin tattoo. So I got it on my ass. But the funniest fucking thing is, like what, 5-6 years ago, when I was like living with my buddy at the time, I was watching Ink Masters, like whatever, back on Netflix.
Yeah.
I don't know what season or whatever. But when they go to the finale, they go back to their shop. I'm like, holy shit! I know that shop. I know that wall. That guy fucking did my ass.
No
so
way.
the guy that won
guy
Ink
did your ass.
Masters, the guy that was inside, like in my ass,
was in your ass.
won Ink Masters.
Get
I'm
the
like,
fuck
yeah.
out of here, dude. That's fucking hilarious.
I think, and this would be a guys' night podcast first, but I think we need to see this tattoo.
Yeah, I think you need to like moving the camera a little
Tastefully.
bit.
He'll do it. Tastefully show us your ass.
Tastefully, let's see.
All right, yeah, I mean, fuck it, let's go. Show the camera show the fucking pumpkin ass.
PG-13, please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wait, no, yeah.
Shout out
No
to your mom, by the
13-year-olds.
way, at 16 years old for fucking telling you could get a fucking pumpkin ass.
There it is.
Yeah, you gotta
Oh
turn.
my gosh,
You should
dude.
make it a pumpkin
That's
patch.
fucking great, dude. Oh,
That's
man.
good.
That's
Picking
hilarious.
pumpkins.
All right, hold on one second. On that note, hey, David, turn off that camera on the top again. And turn it back on. We lost wide angle.
Man.
I mean, it's okay. It's just from like the random edits once in a while that it'll
Yeah.
cut to, but it's really fucking frustrating that that's happening. And I think it has to do with this cord.
My ass. It just saw my ass.
Yeah.
Oh,
Your
my
ass,
ass.
your
It's like
ass
I'm-
is going to be a fucking
Yeah, it's like-
awesome TikTok short coming fucking Wednesday morning. To all those ladies out there looking for your own pumpkin, okay?
We got it right here.
We got
Right
one.
here.
Is it the button all the way on the right?
It says on or off. It's like a rotating
It's a
fucking.
turn one, yeah.
This is gonna be awesome when I have to go back and edit all this fucking shit now.
There you go.
Fucking cameras.
I still got to defend myself for
At
my
least they're recording.
Yeah.
What, you got to defend
Oh
yourself?
yeah, because I didn't get to tell you because of Brandon's ass.
Did it not turn on?
Oh, there it goes.
There it
Yeah.
goes. All right.
So yeah, because I didn't get to tell you because of Brandon's ass. But in my defense, for that video that you saw, number one, it was last night at like 10 o'clock, so
Nobody's
we were
in the gym.
legit the only people there. Number two, the lighting is decent in the posing room, but the lighting in the gym is like fire, bro. It's
Yeah.
like that Instagram lighting that makes you look like I weigh 250. And it makes me look like 280. I mean, it makes me look like a pro.
The lighting in there is insane. Like
It's
I was,
nuts.
you ever see those like motivational movies where like a guy's like in his gym and it's like almost spotlighted on him, but the rest is all dark? Like
Yeah.
that's how that gym is.
Dude,
like it's fucking insane.
It's
in there.
so yeah. It almost makes your photos look cooked because you're like, no way he looks that good, and you really don't look that good except for in those lights. But
Well, it's funny too because like the last couple of mornings, like I usually get there, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning, and like there used to be like the first week, like first 3 or 4 days I was in there, like 5 o'clock, and there was like 2 other people in there.
Yeah.
Now at 5 o'clock, there's like 5 people. They're carrying around their fucking like 6 foot tall selfie sticks, like, and they're like setting them up, and they're like doing like one set at each machine, like and recording it. I'm like, fucking hey, dude, the lighting is good in here. These motherfuckers like. This is just attracting influencers, which is fine because they move off the machines
So they all
quick.
got the rat nest fucking hair.
Yeah,
broccoli head.
definitely.
Yeah, broccoli head.
I call you a rat nest.
Oh my
Dude,
God.
I don't. I'm a mixed emotions on the tripod because like sometimes my coach wants me to like record my lifts and send them to him or whatever, and I'll like mash them up and do an Instagram video or something like that, whatever. But like. It's such a pain in the ass sometimes, and like to me, like I think if you're going to be a tripod person, you should come at off-peak hours
Definitely.
because yeah, when it's 6 o'clock and it's busy and everybody's trying to get on a machine and you're fucking with your tripod, like I want to kick that son of a bitch over, dude.
Yeah, I agree.
I was at the Arnold one time at what's that Pro Gym right there. And if any of you guys ever trained at that gym during the Arnold, it is a fucking zoo, dude.
Oh, I'm
And
sure.
all the pros go there. All the big guys. So Ramy's over here, Nick Walker's over here, and you're just like, fuck, dude. And I'm in a like a hack squat, and I'm just trying to work out as fast as I can and be respectful or whatever. Some dude like comes and put his tripod right in the middle of my hack squat, like in between my legs almost. And I'm like, what the fuck, dude? He's like, oh, I just got to record a set real quick. I'm like, get this the fuck out of here. Do it, dude. I was so pissed. I'm
Fuck
like,
that,
think this is a good time to do this? Like,
Yeah. No, I agree.
so don't be that guy.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so you guys are obviously into the bodybuilding side of things, but let's talk about regular Joe Schmo, dude. Let's talk about a guy like me that wants to stay into fitness. Like, what do you guys, your friends probably ask you all the time, like, what are you doing? I know, Nick, you and I have had a conversation about, stuff like that. But, what was the hardest part when you guys decided to get into this? You talk about eating. Food is obviously a fucking tough thing for everybody.
Sure.
But also the time. What did you guys kind of do as far as did you set a certain time? Did you just go like whenever the fuck you felt like it? Like, how do you guys kind of build out your schedule so that you make sure you get enough training time in a week?
For me, I just train the same time every day for the most part. Like I go before I go home. So after work, I go straight to the gym. I do my hour and a half of training, whatever, and I come home after that. So that was the easiest thing for me. That's how I've kind of always done it. I've never really been a morning person training, so I'd rather sleep. But yeah, that's been my routine. And I don't know. To me, a lot of people say it's tough, but to me, I don't know. It's just really easy. I don't know. Just go. Just like brush your teeth. Once you're in the habit of doing it, you just do it.
Yeah, it's a lifestyle. Yeah.
I think too, like we enjoy going to the gym.
Yeah.
So it's not difficult for us to go there. Like I have a buddy, he's like, how do you go to the gym every day? I'm like, how do you fucking play golf every day, dude? Like golf is boring to me, you know?
Right, yeah.
Like, so like I go golfing once or twice. But if I had to golf every day, I'd be miserable. So, so for what that's worth, you know, you have to find something you enjoy about training. And I think that gets you to the gym a lot easier.
You every day, same time?
Just this, it depends, like, because I always put like that. Even like any like girls I talk to, all my friends, they already know like this is my lifestyle since I've been doing it since 19. So they already know the gym's like my freaking priority. So
Yeah.
like I normally usually go after work, so around 7:30 at night, then get home around 9. I usually do an hour of the gym and then maybe 30 minutes of cardio.
Okay.
But then granted, if I like last week, I went to the Browns game on Thursday. I already knew I had to wake up at 5:04 in the morning so that I could get to the gym on time.
Yeah.
And
Before
I go to work and shower, so I can make sure I just do it. So
Yeah.
I just make it a priority to do it.
Yeah. Evan, what about you? Gym daily?
No, gym 5 to 6 days a week. It's usually right after work. I work 10-hour days at the office. I usually get up at 7, get to the gym probably about 6:30. I'm usually out of the gym by like 8:30, home, then food. But no, it's about 5 to 6 days a week for me because I like to have 1 or 2 rest days.
Yeah, I have 1 or 2. I usually do 1. Saturdays or Sundays.
Saturdays or Sundays. It's me.
We can argue about that. I usually do like 3.
Do you? Okay.
Yeah. 3 to 4 sometimes.
Yes. Oh, so my doctor's like always complain that I don't have enough rest days and stuff. But I'm like, after a rest, like 1 day of rest, I want to go back to the gym because I get really anxious, like really bad. Like if I don't go to the gym enough, I just feels like I'm wasting my time, all that extra, like, because I meal prep, but I hit meal prep 4 to 5 days a week. My week, Saturdays and Sundays, I'm not going to lie, I eat trash. Like he knows it. He knows it. He fucking sees me.
Trash times fucking 3. Like,
Yeah,
fucking
I want all
Mr.
Saturdays.
Diabetes down there's alarm was going off for
Yeah.
fucking 30 minutes before we
Candy
started the podcast. I was like, dude, you better turn that thing off, okay? If you're about to die, just do it beforehand, okay?
But I just I go to the gym because I liked for my health, for the training, and then I like to work out my anger because if some of my bosses, I want to punch in the fucking face. I'm not gonna lie. Every day.
What company do you work for again?
Yeah.
What's their names, please?
let's just say some of the stuff I deal with are just I deal with some.
We
idiots.
just lost 3 subscribers.
Yeah.
Definitely. David, what about you? Do you spend much time at the gym, or I know how do you keep up yourself?
I'm a home gym guy now. I've done various memberships. For me and my career, and you guys may not be aware of this, but you know, I'm retired law enforcement, and for me, what's important at the gym for me is really just cardio. So gym membership for me has mostly been stairs, running, and then jujitsu as well. But I'm pretty natural in all those, I guess. So I never had the desire to be big per se. Just, just didn't really. That's one thing I'm kind of curious about with all 3 of you guys is that, where did that interest come from? I don't know. It could just be people are different kind of thing. But so I never really had the desire. Like I never looked in the mirror and said, oh, I want my arms to be bigger, or I want my chest or my back, or.
Yeah, I usually say something else should be bigger. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I was a kid, I grew up watching Ronnie and Jay and, Dorian even for a little while. I remember when he won his last Olympia or whatever. And I'd see these guys, and they were like larger than life. And then one year, I went down to the Arnold with some friends and like got to see some of these bodybuilders in real life. And I was like, holy smokes, look like the Hulk, man. And you're like, wow, I wish I could look like that, And I just kind of was always in the back of my mind, like, I want to get bigger. Like I said before, I watched like all these Rich Piana videos, and I would do what he said to do, which he said to eat raviolis and train hard. And I'm like, okay, cool, that's what I'll do. And it kind of worked to an extent. Was it 1 can of raviolis, 1 egg, and like a bottle? Was it a half a gallon of water every meal? Yeah, that's what he would do because he said he was cheap. He didn't have any money, and so he had to get big on not having money, so he had to get calories. And actually, Hani Rambod just did a video like a couple weeks ago. And if you don't know who he is, he's like the best bodybuilding coach of all time. He's got more Olympia titles than anybody. And he's like, the food, he's like, you get results as a bodybuilder if everything else is in place, eating McDonald's every day. But which I don't recommend doing that. Your arteries will thank you later. But you can grow. Like if your sole goal is to grow, you don't care about your health, all that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, absolutely. You can grow just eating in a surplus.
Yeah, you just gotta eat.
Yeah, the food is. Yeah, it doesn't like. Now I'm more particular. I try to stay relatively lean throughout my off season, so that way I can keep a longer off season and then have a shorter prep. So it's more efficient. And if you just eat cleaner, you can get the calories necessary to grow without having to put on any extra to take off. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of just being in the gym in general is fucking healthy. For me, I've had home gyms before. Dude, I never work out when the gym's in my house. Like, it's impossible for me. Like, if I had this basement filled with fucking workout equipment, it could be fucking best in the world, and fucking, I would still rather be at the gym.
Same.
One, I like the idea of community, like you're around other people. Even though I'm not one to talk to other people when I'm at the gym, I'm more like just tune out and just do my thing. I still like the fact that there's other people trying to accomplish the same stuff that I'm there, and I feel like if I have a mission where I have to go somewhere and do something, I'm more likely to do it.
And if you see some dude in there training their ass off, you're gonna be like, "Fuck, I need to go." You know, I need to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and there's
motivation.
Yeah, it can be.
motivation.
I mean, there's definitely times when I'm in there and like, they talk about your, what is it, your gym enemy, right? Where like that fucker's lifting more than me. Like, how is that possible?
I
Like,
don't have that.
You don't have no way like that.
I thought it was like that masculinity guy.
I am.
Oh
the
my
gym
god, I thought about reaching out to him
Dude.
when Dayon dropped out, but I didn't want it to be like because I didn't want it to be like a whole episode. Of
I
us
wish you
just-
would have, dude.
No.
Oh man.
Oh man.
But so here's a interesting thing. So when I was getting ready to have you guys on, like I just talked, just talking about to the regular people out there that aren't interested in bodybuilding and just want to like get in better shape. Like first of all, it's like 72% of Americans are overweight right now, and I just saw a thing the other day: 49% of men are obese. The average man can only do one pull-up. And the average 20-year-old is only benching 180. The average 30-year-old, I want to say, is benching 155. And the average 40-year-old is benching like under 140 pounds, I think, are some of the round numbers. And I see David going to town on the computer over there, so maybe he can find some of those things out.
Yeah.
I think it's also like, I think for the people that do go to the gym, guys or girls, I think it's only 13% could bench their body weight once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane, dude. And only 13% of the population actually is fit, where they like it's 50 or 60% of the population considers themselves fit. And I'm like, bro, I cannot find 6 out of 10 people that are in good shape.
Yeah, I'm sexy as fuck.
A lot of it has to. I think a lot of this has to do with this culture that we live in, this accepting everybody, and everybody is, beautiful in their own way, and everybody wins, that kind of shit, and it's all fucking garbage. It breeds weakness, in my opinion. So, it's okay to lose. You know what I mean, and to say that, even like for me, like when I looked at that picture, like I said earlier, and was like, man, I can't believe I look like that. I need to do something about it. If I would have been like, oh man, I should just love my body the way it is, I'd be fat as fuck right now, dude.
Yeah.
I'd be like 300 pounds and with diabetes,
Well, and that's the other aspect of it too. Like I think people like, and it starts with kids, like especially now with so much out there for like social media and so many distractions and things that they could just sit in their room and do for hours, whether it's play video games on their computer, play video games on a PlayStation, TikTok for fucking 2 hours, YouTube videos for 4 hours, you name it. Like kids just don't get outside and get active. So like then you get to the point where you're 20 years old. Like, I mean, you just look at the average teenage boy or girl right now that's 15, 16 years old. And like you could already predict at 20 years old, like they're going to be too far gone. Like they don't realize it now, but you're sitting there at, 5 foot as a woman sitting there at 5'5", 155 in high school. Like, you're going to be 5'5", 195 after a couple of years of college or close to it. And then it's like never going to happen.
Well, and some of
guys is the same way. I mean, guys are fucking atrocious. Like the young men that I see out there today, like, goddamn, they're fucking so obese at this point that it's disgusting.
Well, and you said a lot of it happens when you're a kid, and I honestly blame a lot of the parents. I think that like if you have a kid that is morbidly obese, and he doesn't have a legitimate health problem, you are like an abusive parent, in my opinion, because it's because I know I've seen this happen where like parents are feeding their kids a bunch of junk food and they're overweight. During COVID, we all ate a little too much, whatever. And my one son, he was a little bit heavy, and we made him get on his bike, ride his bike around throughout the day. I made him pick a sport, go play a sport, as soon as the sport started opening back up, and he lost the weight. And to me, it's my responsibility to make sure that he doesn't get any health problems because.
I also think it's a lot of the parents get home from work, they're tired, they don't want to deal with their kids, so they give them an iPad and they tell them, here, watch a TV show, watch this. They don't force the kids to go outside. Like
they put a Stouffer's lasagna in the oven and they eat that. And, they don't make a home cooked meal or anything like that. Yeah,
like seriously. And then on top of that, when we were kids, how many kids had broken arms, broken legs? How many kids do you see with that going outside?
It ain't because they're drinking milk either.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, there was a whole podcast about that. Well, like, how many kids do you see with broken arms, broken legs? Because we were fooling around. We go outside, messing around and stuff.
Yeah. No, kids don't play outside.
Well, I was gonna say, back in the day, you were able to hit
your kids literally beat the hell out of your kids. Exactly.
Back in the day, shit, dude, we do that now, dude.
Yeah, exactly.
My son came home.
Now.
Yeah, my son came home late with the car the other day, and we were like, "Oh man, I thought my wife was gonna kill him, dude."
Oh, he's driving?
Yeah. Both my boys are 16, so the one I was just talking about is actually technically my stepson, but I've been raising him since he's 4, so he's as much as blood to me, and but yeah, and I have a biological one. They're about a week and a half apart in age. So, they're my boys. Are funny.
So what's their fitness like?
So it's funny. The one that I was just saying that was a little overweight, he's a football player. So he's always in the gym training. He's like a little bit more of a stocky kid, but it's like good weight, because he has to be a little bit heavier for football. So, but he does that. My other son looks like a swimmer. Like he's very cut, like lean. He plays. He played baseball last year, but I don't think he's going to play again this year. He played. He's on the bowling team, which he likes, and he runs track. So,
so they're active.
They're active, and we make them active. Like you have to play a sport, or be in a club or something because
they don't eat Happy Meals.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, I let them indulge in like kid stuff. I don't want to ruin their childhood by eating chicken and rice all the time.
Yeah.
But like it's a specialty thing. Like so, like we don't buy pop for the house, but if we go out to dinner, you can have a soda. So it's in moderation, which I think is good for most people. We for Halloween candy, whatever they can eat for like a week, and then we throw it away. You know what I mean? 'Cause I just don't want it in the house. I don't want them pigging out for the next 6 months on garbage.
Sure. That's a good point too, because it's funny when kids today, like McDonald's could be like a fucking daily treat.
Dude.
Like they're like going to it every day on the way home from school and whatever the case might be. And it's like we didn't eat fast food as a kid, and I don't think it wasn't looked at as a cheaper option when I was a kid either. Like it was easier to make like sloppy joes with ground turkey for fucking 7 of us than it was to go to McDonald's and get 7 or 5 Happy Meals.
Pasta and sauce, dude. It's like it costs like $3. Yeah.
Right. So, but like now you look at it and it's like, man, these kids are growing up on that shit. And now they have DoorDash, and now parents are like, if you're hungry, just DoorDash it. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Lazy
Like,
as shit stuff.
Yeah, dude.
I don't have that at all. I'm like, if I'm hungry enough and I'm freaking hungry, I could go freaking get something.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. We one thing that we do too, like with the boys, because they work now, and I make sure that that's the other thing, they both have jobs, and I've gotten them a couple of really cool jobs. They work at a haunted house. I've got them a warehouse job over the summer. They're making like $16 an hour, which is pretty good. But I won't give them money. Like I'll give them money for stuff here and there to help, but like gas or whatever. But I will not buy them fast food. So if they like want to buy fast food, that's their own money. Yeah,
they think about that.
Then they think it different. Like, oh shit, man, I just spent $10 on this value meal or whatever. It's like, did I really want to blow my money on that? So
well, that's another thing too. It's so expensive to eat. Like once I get on the road and like I'm really big on trying to eat like food that's just generally better for you. Like I don't know if you guys follow anybody like Gary Brecka, or you talk about all these different guys that are out there looking at food as a different way. Like like rice is one of the things that they tell you to stay away from. Are you guys familiar with Tim Ferriss?
That doesn't ring a bell. But.
Tim Ferriss wrote this book called The 4-Hour Body, and essentially he created a diet that is a great way for you to gain muscle mass right away and lose a ton of weight. And one of the main rules of it is like, I'll try to remember these the best I can. It's like no pasta, no rice, no cheese, no dairy at all.
No fun.
No fun.
It's definitely a no fun diet. But the idea is like you wake up and within 30 minutes you have at least 30 grams of protein. Within 30 minutes after that, you should have it. You're in the gym or working out for at least 30 minutes, and then your diet throughout the day is like no calories from drinks, so like no coffees and stuff like that. Oh, if it's black coffee, it's one thing, but no like calorie coffees, like if you're going to Starbucks and shit like that, or pop or any of those things.
What are you allowed to eat on this diet?
I mean, it's like
Water.
he talks about it's a lot of meat. Vegetables are limited, but like asparagus, spinach, things like that. Even fruit is like not necessarily the best because there's a lot of sugar in fruit.
But there's so with sugar.
So, but here's he looked at it in the same way that you guys talked about, though. You're like, it's simple because I know what I'm allowed to eat. So then I just
eat
like when you want to eat that. Like he's like, look. It worked for me too, especially when I work from home. But it's like, all right, well, what am I allowed to eat? I'm allowed to eat steak. I like steak. So if I bring out the air fryer and I fucking cook a steak every day for lunch, and guess what? That'll fill me up. Like I can eat a 14-ounce New York strip. It cost me $11, and I'm full, and I got good fucking fat in me, and I got good protein in me.
What does he have any carb sources in this diet?
No, so it's essentially a lot like a low
like a
carb
carnivore,
diet. Yeah. And so I'm interested to hear your take on it because I went on it. I did it like solid for a month, and I lost about 28 pounds. Yeah, and for me, I'm not trying to bulk up, so it was hard at first to see like me lose like almost a half an inch on my muscles, but like I did notice more definition and stuff like that, especially in my stomach. And then from there, I took it and I was like, okay, well, I did it really hard for a month, but now I'm just going to like kind of try and do it. So I'm definitely not doing it as well, but I have lost a total of like 32 pounds. A lot of it just being like simple, like not overeating really. That's like so much weight gain, I feel like.
Yeah, weight loss in general is super simple, right? Like you eat less calories than you burn, then you will lose weight. Now, depending on it, if you just do that, you'll become a smaller version of yourself, right? So if you are built like a potato and you just eat less calories than what you burn, you'll be just a smaller potato.
Yeah,
right?
if you're not doing anything else.
Exactly. If you're not training or whatever. And so to change the shape is what you need everything else for. So I don't want to burst your bubble on this, but you cut all your carbs out. Carbs hold water, okay? So all the water that you were holding, you let go of. So a lot of that 20 pounds you lost in a month most of it was not fat. A lot of it was water. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where these low carb diets make so much money, is because they sell them to people and they're like, oh yeah, do Atkins, do keto, do all these carnivore, whatever. And it's instant results. And it really is instant results as far as the scale. So you get on the scale, yeah, I'm down 20 pounds in a month, but it's not fat. You don't put on 20 pounds of fat in a month, and you don't lose 20 pounds of fat in a month typically. So unless you're doing some extreme shit, it's either extreme eating or extreme dieting.
Right.
So that's like one big misconception. And then when you go back to eat those carbs, you gain a bunch of weight back. You're not actually gaining any weight back. You're just gaining water back. So my take on that is like, I don't like a lot of the no carb or low carb diets per se. I think like it was surprising that rice was on that list, because rice is the most easily digested carb, and it doesn't stick to you. So I just want to give people the amount of carbs that they need, not necessarily over or under, but amount of carbs they need to achieve their goal. And that way, the carbs are what fuels your workout too. So if you don't eat carbs, then you're not going to be able to train as hard. You're not going to be able to get as much of a pump. So that's like kind of my take on it. So what do you think, Brandon?
Oh yeah, because I was thinking, because you were saying that about the water, I was looking at it as the energy, right? Because carb is like your body's main source of energy.
Sure.
So probably you had a lot less energy during that.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks was brutal, but what then I realized is like I was just, because I was like not necessarily supplementing those carbs with like calories, like good calories or protein or anything like that. Like as soon as I started doing that, like I noticed a huge difference in my training, was able to go back up. Cause like that first couple of weeks, like I went from like finishing my workouts, like on chest day, for instance, like I usually finish with like a max, like 350, and it was like down to like 315, like in 2 weeks.
You feel weak. Yeah.
But it like you were way weaker. Right. And like, obviously like, and I was like way less intense in the gym too. Like there wasn't enough pre-workout in the world to like get me through a full workout. So then I was like, all right, well, let me up my protein. Let me up my calorie count. So that's when I started like making sure I had at least a steak once or not twice a day, because I would get a ton of calories from that. You get a lot of calories from the fat in that as well. And I would start to see that energy come back. Water. Now, here's the one thing. I did not retain any of the weight that I lost. So I did not gain back any of the weight that I lost. So I lost that. I was down to like 207. This was back in, I don't know, April. And through the summer, I basically did my normal regular eating. I just like said, all right, I'm not gonna. I started watching my weight every day, which I thought was a key. Like if you weight get on the scale every day, like I'm making sure that I'm holding myself accountable. Like, oh fuck, dude, you know, you overate a pasta last night, you know, whatever the case might be. But you know, and now I'm trying to get that last like 7-8 pounds back because I want to see a 6-pack. I don't know if it's gonna happen because frankly, there's other aspects that we'll talk about as we go on, like that defines to that. But so when you guys are trying to cut leading up to a show, what are you guys doing? What is the difference between, let's say, because I hear all the horror stories of cutting, right? Like everybody's an asshole, everybody's fucked up, everybody's mindset's all out of whack. But I also hear it. I heard a lot of that's mental, and I heard a lot of that's prep. Like, they're just prepping poorly.
Right. Yeah, like one of my preps, man, I was it was like the worst prep. I was like 228 pounds. It was like my biggest bulk I ever did. I was 228. Still has never got that. It was like a 14-week cut, and I was doing 2 hours of cardio a day, an hour fasted after my workout, and whatever. I went like 38 days with no carbs. Like that whole prep, I was completely miserable. The girlfriend I had at the time, surprised she didn't kill me. I mean, respect to her for putting up with me at that time, but I know I was a complete asshole. Like my buddies, when I was having my apartment, he was messing with me. I was pushing down the freaking stairs, right? But it was a mental, so I learned from that prep. So my next prep I did, I mean, it was all mental. I was good till probably 2 weeks out is when I necessarily hit it.
Yeah.
So just to kind of cap your thing and kind of piggyback off of Brandon. So when you were talking about your no carb workouts and you weren't as strong, right? The reason why is because you have what's called glycogen storage, right? So glycogen is stored energy in your muscle, and your body will use that for energy to get a good pump, to lift weight, do whatever, to run out of a burning building, whatever you need. And that's made by carbs. Now, once the glycogen storages are depleted, it will use fat as a fuel source. So that becomes your next. It's a secondary fuel source, so that's where you burn calories, right? So when you use fat only as a fuel source, it's harder for the body to build muscle because you're having less intense workouts. So this works for Brandon, right, to go no carb for so long because he already had a physique that was built, and now he's just trying to take the weight off. So that's where like going no carb for a while for a specific period of time is okay because he's not trying to build any more muscle. He's trying to show the muscle that he already has.
Gotcha.
So if you're trying to recomp your body, going no carb is not going to do anything for your physique. It's just gonna make it harder for you to build muscle. But you could be strategic about this, right? Like this is like the key point. So when you start to diet, and I bet you Brandon will agree with a lot of stuff. A lot of times he was doing his cardio fasted or post workout. Those are the two best times a day to do your cardio. Why? Because fasted in the morning, your glycogen storages are the lowest, and you don't have any food in your stomach to refill your glycogen storages. So like when you eat pre-workout, you have a meal or something, that's going to continue to replenish your glycogen as you're burning it. So you're able to, continue to train harder. That's why you have these really easily digested meals before you train. But usually by the end of your workout, you're on an empty stomach, you burned all your glycogen storages, so now it's a good time to do cardio. Same thing when you first wake up in the morning, you don't have any food going, so your glycogen storages are what they are. As soon as you burn through them, now you're just going to be burning fat. So those are two best times to do cardio. So one big pet peeve of mine is when people go to the gym and they do cardio before they train, and then they train. You just depleted all your glycogen storage, burn a bunch of fat, but now you have no energy to train really hard, So that's where like having a coach or having a plan in place really helps, especially if you don't know these things. So that way you can work efficiently. You're not like driving with the brakes on type of thing.
Sure. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So actually, I have a question about that then because, so in the morning, like I start out my morning protein shake. Usually, like you go to Costco, Chomps beef sticks. Mm-hmm. I usually have one of those just to like try to get my protein level right off the rep in the morning, and then I go to the gym. So do you recommend doing additional things before I go do that? And if I do that and I'm trying to like cut afterwards, should I be finishing my workout with cardio at that point?
So if you are you saying you're training like almost first thing in the morning. You eat in the morning.
Just
and then
protein?
Yeah. I'm doing a protein shake and then like some sort of additional protein, whether it's like hard boiled eggs or
carbs?
something of that nature.
No carbs?
No carbs.
Get this. This is what you'll think it's weird. Am I too far?
Yeah, just
put
a
your
little
finger
bit
in
closer.
your butt.
Your mic. Your mic.
Yeah.
Just try to get a little bit closer to the mic.
Okay.
Yeah. There you go. I'm interested in your take on this, so go ahead.
Just for because whatever. Sometimes I work out at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning if I have to, but normally I'm working out at 7:30, whatever. Regardless of just how my body is, I eat on the way to the gym or whatever, because whatever. And that's usually by the time I'm done eating, it's about 20 minutes anyway to it. So it's like my glycogen's already correct.
What are you eating on the way?
So in the morning, favorite thing, of course, you got to have the carbs. Absolutely for the
What's
your
your carb
energy.
source?
I love Gerber baby food.
No,
Dude, dead ass.
you laugh, but this is the thing.
Dude,
This is the thing,
dead
yeah.
ass. Hear me out. Gerber.
do you do the rice?
Cream of rice.
Yep, I knew it.
Right. I do half a cup.
This is a bodybuilder thing.
And then you get a scoop, just like a tablespoon of peanut butter, and then you just do water or protein powder and a scoop of water, and you mix it. Put it in the microwave for a minute. Dude, it tastes like warm ice cream. All right, dead ass.
Do you know why he does the Gerber?
No, I
why
gotta hear
that's
this.
good? Okay, so
Because I'm not a little bitch.
because he's not a little bitch. Okay, but no. Okay, so babies.
And iron and shit like that.
Well, no, babies. The Gerber is designed to be an easily digested food for
Correct.
babies because babies, their digestive systems don't work very good. They're just
Right.
a baby, you know. So a lot of bodybuilders will use the rice, or baby rice or whatever, because it digests so fast. So on the way to the gym in the morning, that's a great pre-workout meal because it's going to go in and out very, very fast, and you'll be able to absorb those carbs quickly. If you were to eat like oatmeal or brown rice, it's going to sit in your stomach forever. You're not even going to get.
Right.
It's not even going to be digested fast enough for you to be able to use it in the morning anyway. So
So hold on, let me hear this again. You're mixing baby food, which is Gerber's
Gerber.
baby food, but it's a certain kind.
You can look it up.
it's like a rice. It's a rice
like literally
cereal.
it's like a powder.
Yeah, it's
it's
right-
basically like a powder.
It's called rice cereal. You can also use, it's called cream of rice, which is basically just
rice.
granulated rice. It's the same type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then
That's-
you're mixing that with
A scoop of peanut butter. And then my protein scoop.
I'm gonna try that shit tomorrow.
Dude, it's good, dude. I'm telling you.
It's good.
Yeah,
you
don't knock
throw
it
it
till
in,
you try
you
it.
throw it into a blender or something?
I mean, I just put it in my bowl and I just mix it all together and I throw it in the microwave for a minute.
Yeah, it's like pre-granulated, so it's like really.
Yeah, it's
You
thin.
just add water and warm it up, and it's like what's the consistency of it? Like mashed potatoes, kind of.
Yeah, it looks like apple. I mean, I call it, like I said, I call it hot ice cream.
Yeah.
but like it looks like.
So what are you
applesauce.
getting out of this? You're getting your carb level out of this?
Yeah, and he has protein, or he has peanut butter in it, probably like natural peanut butter, not like a
Yep.
bunch of palm
Yeah,
oil
of
bullshit
course.
in it.
Yeah.
And which is a fat source. So what that does, when you eat a bunch of carbs, your pancreas is going to make a bunch of insulin, right? So your insulin's going to spike. You want to regulate that insulin. So if you eat healthy fats with your carbs, then your insulin will be regulated. So you're not like getting a huge spike of insulin and then a huge crash. Okay. So that's where the peanut butter comes in handy. And then the protein, obviously, you want to have a decent amount of protein with whatever meal.
Now, I have a little question on that. I do a little bit different. I do morning oats before I go to the gym.
Okay.
Yeah.
I do oatmeal, instant oatmeal, but I put mine in a bullet. I put a blender, instant oatmeal, 2 scoops of fat-free Greek yogurt, half a scoop of protein mix, and some honey. And that's what I do every morning before I go to work or go to the gym.
Do you leave it overnight and stuff?
Sometimes,
the
yes.
overnight
Yeah,
oats?
yeah.
Do you do blueberries too? Or no?
I throw sometimes like strawberries.
Frozen or no?
Frozen.
Okay, yeah.
That's what I do. Then I get it in those frozen bags from
Costco.
Sam's Club,
Oh.
Costco. Yeah.
Dude, I buy like 5 at a time. Just want to hold
Yep. Yep.
That's like my wife's big on it. Like they had the pre-made like smoothie packet or
Yeah.
whatever. It's got all that shit in it. Like
Yeah.
I mean, it's got a ton of sugar in it, but fucking.
I try to cut it in half. I tried to literally. When they tell you to put 2 scoops, I screwed it to like a half a scoop or something because, again, type 1 diabetic. My sugar when I wake up in the morning, I have the what do you call it, the sunrise effect.
Yeah.
And it screws. If you're type 1 diabetic and you don't wake up in like 3 in the morning and test your blood sugar, or you don't have a pump, you'll wake up with a 400 blood sugar reading.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Jesus. I
Yes.
start getting freaked out if I have 200 in the morning or
Yes.
220.
No.
Yeah. Like, oh, man.
I have to literally set my alarm for 2 or 3 in the morning, check my blood sugar, and then I'll go back to bed if I need to give myself some insulin.
Yes, you're more of a unique case with the
Yes.
diabetes. I would say the oats are probably good for you because they digest slowly. Like they're actually one of the most slowest digesting carbs is oats. That's like we're talking about the cream of rice or the baby food, which is like the fastest thing that will digest. Oatmeal is probably the slowest carb that you can digest. So
Like, yeah, think about it. You have it overnight that it's
Yes.
taking a while to break down. So
Yeah.
imagine that doing it in your body when it's not even like that.
right,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's a lot of fiber. It's thick. It's so it takes a while for your body to break that apart, pull all the nutrients out of it. And this is like where earlier we were talking about the macros and stuff. Like people, like, if it fits your macros, that's what I do. that doesn't take into account any of the stuff that we're talking about now, amongst other important factors.
So this is actually a great aspect. Is the thing that you just talked about, right? Like all these things. Like, that's not something you ever hear about,
Right.
Right.
right?
It's
Like
just
you
like, just like
Yeah, we don't like to tell anybody because we don't really get big.
Well, it's not even about being. It's not even about being big. Like everybody
No.
looks about. They talk about breakfast is always the most important meal of the day,
Sure.
right? But we don't actually talk about like, okay, well, what could that morning look like as far as the way what your breakfast is, and then how your body actually reacts to
right,
it.
and it's kind of just like when like after your workout, your post workout like meal, or granted like your shake, right? If you're trying to cut, there's certain things that you should have or should not have, right? Or like when you're cutting for a show, some things that you do eat, you don't eat, right? So it kind of like breaks down to that scenario as well.
Yeah, and like if you're in a bulk, you might eat something like pasta, right? Because it's got like
I eat that
it's
on the way here.
super calorie dense food, right? So you can get it down. Because like if you're eating, like you're trying to eat cream of rice or oatmeal a lot of times, and you're trying to get your carb goal for that meal, you're gonna shovel so much shit in your mouth that you're just like it's hard to eat. Like you have to choke it down. So sometimes it's good in a bulk to eat a calorie dense food, but not like a dirty calorie dense food. I'm not saying go eat a whole pizza.
Right.
You know what I mean? But go, I'm gonna have like pasta, or maybe I'll have like
Yeah, 2 of my meals right now have 2 cups of pasta.
pasta. Yeah, that's usually my like go to for like a super dense calorie food. But yeah, so and again, that's where like having like a coach or somebody that programs your diet, because it's all specific for you. If you're Evan, we're not going to have him eat a bunch of fast releasing carbs because he's a diabetic. You know what I mean? If if you're trying to lose weight, you're going to eat certain foods. You're going to try to gain weight, you're going to eat certain foods. And everybody's body's different, so you might react to different foods.
Right.
I have a couple clients that are like real sensitive to eggs. For whatever reason, like eggs upset their digestion, it upsets their stomach, so we can't really use eggs in their diet. But they didn't know that before. Like, oh, I can eat eggs, right? But they didn't realize, man, my stomach kind of
So
hurts.
you start eating them all the time.
Yeah, and you eat them regularly, and you say, oh man, after my third meal, it like really upsets my stomach.
It
Like, oh, that's the
scrambles
eggs.
the stomach.
Oh, I like what you did there. I like what you did there.
You'll be here
So
all
wait,
week.
are eggs terrible for before workout then?
No, they're
No,
fine.
they're good.
They're okay.
So,
So,
are you talking about white or also
hard boiled. I mean the hard boiled whole egg.
Yeah, that's good because I
Yeah.
mean, granted the yolk, that's like the fat,
Yeah.
right, and then the white is the protein.
Okay.
Have you ever drank one before?
No.
Oh, you're not a real man. Okay, that's
Yeah. Dude,
cool. Dude, I used to.
Wait, hold on.
I used
So
to drink
drinking a fucking.
No.
When you say drinking, are you talking about like me, like literally pouring that into a blender with something else, or are you just saying like crack it raw and fucking just eat it?
like a man.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
well,
Like Rocky.
you can
Like
scramble
fucking-
it in your cup.
scramble if you want,
fucking-
right?
Yeah, no.
Well, hold on, wait.
Well, because some of my meal plans was like 8 eggs in the morning, 8 eggs at night. I'm like, I ain't freaking cooking all this shit. Where am I going to keep this Tupperware? So I'm in Costco. You open up the little carton.
Oh, you know what? Actually, that is interesting you said that because
all the time.
Fuck, what was it that I
People are
was?
like, you're fucking crazy. I'm like, fuck you.
So I just shared. Do you guys know who Corey Ross is? No, he's just he's a local dude. His wife Megan McDowell works out around here. They just did their first competition last year. Anyhow, they were
I actually
talking
think
about.
I do know
okay,
who they are.
yeah.
Yeah, they work out at Accelerate. Anyhow, they were talking about like getting a certain amount of protein at a certain day at a certain amount of times a day. And like I was like, this was like I must have Googled this or something. So then all of my TikToks or Instagrams were all filled with dudes drinking like the entire bottle of fucking egg mix, liquid eggs, because there was like
There's no taste in it.
it was like 60
ever done
grams.
it?
It was like 60
So,
grams of protein,
you.
and so they would like just put a little chocolate syrup in there, like non-fat chocolate syrup.
I've seen people do
Mix
that
it up,
before.
and it was like
Sugar-free.
60 or 80 grams of fucking protein that you would get with
So-
like 0 calories or some shit. And I was like, you gotta
gonna-
be fucking kidding me.
I'm
So
gonna
is that what you're talking about? Is like literally the egg white fucking mix or whatever out of the fucking
just literally egg whites. I mean, literally, it has no taste,
yeah.
and the consistency is like milk.
Well, I'm going to shit on everybody's bubble here and tell you why you shouldn't do
I
that.
know you shouldn't, but I do it because it's just quicker.
Yeah.
I know because like the calorie and of course
Well-
the amount of protein stuff like
Yeah. So what happens is whenever you eat something, depending on how easily it's able to be digested, this is why processed foods are not good, because however easily it's digested, the more percentage of whatever the macronutrient you're going to get. So let's just use protein for example. Let's just say in 50 grams of egg whites, there's in a carton of egg whites, there's 50 grams of protein, and you're going to drink this whole carton of egg whites. Your body has a hard time processing that and breaking that down because it's raw egg whites. So you'll probably only get like 25 grams of that,
Yeah,
50
you get
grams
a
of
little
protein.
bit less.
Yeah. So, and I guess it depends on the person and their digestive system and all that
Sure,
stuff.
but
you'll
you're
get,
not getting the full benefit of everything that's in there.
Maybe you would get not 90% of that. So maybe out of the 50, you'd get like,
40 or whatever it is.
45 or whatever. If you were to cook them. So yeah, will it work? Sure. Are you going to get the full benefit from it? No. And which actually was a huge disappointment to me because I used to always drink egg whites. And like my grandpa, when I was a kid, he was like this. He's 70, or when he was 76, he was still going to the gym, dude. Like he was this old dude and whatever. So, and he always had big arms. He'd go like this all the time. And anyways, he would
Did you
told
just
me,
flex for the camera
Yeah.
intentionally? Is that right? He's like, I just wanted to flex one time for the camera.
No, he would, dude. He would every time one of my friends come over. He'd come over. He'd like, hey. And I'm like, dude, Grandpa, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, you're embarrassing me, dude. Come behind me. He used to grab my hair, he'd be like, grab and jump the fence. I don't even know what that means when he grabbed my hair and like pull it and like, ow, Grandpa, what the fuck? He's just crazy. And but anyways,
Which way to the beach now?
yeah. So, but he would always, before he went to the gym, until the day he died, he would have a glass of grape juice and a raw egg, and he would drink it, and he'd mix it up. So that's what I used to do when I was a kid all the time. I'd drink grape juice and raw egg, and I'd go to the gym. That was a pre-workout.
Oh man, it's
horrible.
crazy.
So
Oh, here we go.
there's so much information here. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of science here, and both you guys super well educated on the topic. So in the U.S., 74% of adults are overweight, 43% are obese, and then in contrast,
Sick, dude.
Yeah.
and
Well,
so
well, is
in
that-
contrast, hold on. In contrast, Europe,
It's like 30.
59%, this is all of Europe thrown in together, 59% of adults are overweight, and it's less than half the obesity rate. It's like, I mean, there's some areas like Italy, for instance, is 11%. And I think their diet's all carbs.
Fucking great, man. They're fucking crazy.
They're eating pizza, they're lean.
You know, here's the first thing I tell anybody that asks, like, dude, why are Europeans not so fat? Like, why are they in better shape? First of all, I'll start off with Greece. Greece is like the fucking country of steps. Everywhere you want to go is like 200 steps up, 200 steps
The
down.
closest vineyard's 2 miles. You got to walk, though.
Dude, and let me tell you what you
Uphill
never
both ways.
there's 0% chance you will find anything that's handicap accessible.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I asked the
Fuck
folks,
handicap
like when you
people.
ask the when you ask the local people, like, hey, I'm just curious, like, you know, nothing's like, you have to walk up these steps. Like, what do these folks do as they get older and stuff? Like, that's what community's for. Like, the local community takes care of the elders. Like, oh,
shoot 'em.
If I need, no, but it's more like if my neighbor needs eggs and she's 92 years old and she can't make it to the fucking grocery store, like, I get her eggs while I'm out there. Or it's like, hey, I'll walk with you and we'll go get eggs together and we'll walk to the store. Like, the community doesn't leave them behind. Anyhow, so there's 0 chance that you're walking around. Let me tell you something. How many times you go to fucking Walmart and see somebody in a scooter?
Every
yeah.
day. Every day.
Never, not happening over there. I
Because
can
they're
promise you
overweight.
that.
That's why. Because they're overweight.
Yeah, here they're overweight. Over there, you don't get a fucking chance to be fucking lazy.
Oh, you lost your wide angle.
Yeah, wide angle's gone. Number 2, and the same thing with Italy. Like, I truly believe there's a difference in food. A lot of these foreign countries don't allow processed food.
Correct.
I talked about Gary Brecka earlier. His big thing is folic acid. In 1993, the United States started spraying folic acid because we thought it was like this great vitamin or whatever, this great thing that everybody needed. We started spraying it over all pasta, rice, all these wheat, all this stuff. So your bread, your pasta, everything you get here in the United States, if you look at it and it says the word enriched on it, it's like overstacked with folic acid, which is actually terrible for you in the sense of things like joint pain, inflammation. Like, it brings a lot of bad stuff. Over there, it's illegal. Like, can't get folic acid. And that comes down to, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with like folic acid and the history behind it, but like there's folic acid and there's like methylfolate. Like, basically half of us are built to take folic acid and actually do something with it. The other half of us is built to where, like, we don't just take crude oil. We need refined gasoline, and there's a difference. So I think that's a big portion of the reason that food is just way better for you in those foreign countries. Yeah, they might eat a lot of pasta, but it's fucking homemade. It's not doused with a bunch of shit. It's not fucking processed. Like, you talk about Costco. Like you go to Costco, you can get actual pasta from Italy, and it comes and it's like vacuum packed.
Yeah.
Like it's like fucking homemade pasta. It's not doused with a bunch of shit. It's vacuum packed. As soon as you break the seal, you got like fucking 3 days to use it or it goes bad.
That's how it was when I was in Japan. Like most places, like in the United States, you don't want to eat raw eggs because they're not like cleaned properly or.
What, raw eggs?
Yeah, because
So actually, that's a myth, dude.
Poisoning.
Raw eggs right from the chicken's ass are actually
Yeah.
way better for
that's
you
what I'm
than the
saying.
eggs you buy in the grocery store.
That's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
yeah,
Well,
100%.
when we were in Japan, people were like opening every meal you got, you could get a raw egg with because people were putting in their ramen. They were doing
Just dropping it
just
all.
drop it. Yeah, like literally. But here, I'll be a little hesitant to do that stuff here, and like the eggs from you buy from the stores.
The food tastes different too.
Yes,
like
100%.
So I there's like a German market I go to in Cleveland sometimes, and they have like all these snacks and stuff. And my daughter got these gummy bears one time. It was like the Goldberger bears, or however you say gummy bear in German. And she took it home. She said, "Dad, these taste so good. They taste different." And I said, "Really?" She said, "Yeah." I ate one. I was like, "Man, they do taste different." And the same company that makes it and everything. And
Then he started seeing stars and butterflies.
this is awesome. Got these in the wrong aisle. Yeah.
Wrong part of Cleveland.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think when you get to like, especially in Europe, a lot of the food that's legal here isn't legal over there. You go to a grocery. Has anybody here? Have you guys been to Europe?
Yeah.
Yeah, like you go to Europe, a grocery store is like literally the size of like this basement.
Yes.
Yeah, it's small.
Because like everything you have to buy it and then make
it.
Yeah.
It's not processed, setting in a box on a shelf for 6 to 8 months. So it's a different aspect. And the other thing is look, everything over there is designed for you to walk around, move around, whereas we take convenience to a new level in this country.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
Which
go to
is-
the store more often there too. Like they'll shop
Yeah.
every day rather
Yes.
than buying like
Yeah,
a
and
week
you're
or a month.
walking. Like when you're in Italy on the Amalfi Coast, like the Amalfi Coast is like to get to your house is like 200 flights of fucking straight down steps down to like the localist market or whatever. It might only be 700 feet, but you're going straight fucking down and straight up. Like imagine doing that every day of your life from the age of like 30 till 70. Like 70 is going to be like it's nothing. It's muscle memory to the nth degree. Like
You know what else too is they don't have superstores there. Like they don't have like there's no Walmart in Germany or in Barcelona or something like that. Yeah, so that's something I noticed, especially the last time I went, because I've only ever been to Europe to play cards. When I was talking about the Magic card thing, when I was a pro, they'd fly me and stuff. So
I can't wait to talk about this
yeah,
later.
I was a pro virgin.
I was a pro version. Yeah. So my first couple times I went, I just would always just eat out because I didn't give a shit. But my last one was in 2019, and I was trying to pay a little more attention to my health at that point, and they just had local markets. Like there was like a grocery store, and then so there's a bigger one. Like no, this is the same grocery store, but like 5 blocks over, like type of thing. Just there wasn't no like Walmart or Superstore or
Right.
something that you get stuff. So everything was fresh and whatnot. So yeah, we tried to eat as much. We had a big Airbnb that they paid for, so we brought food and cooked it and everything.
Highly recommend too. By the way, speaking of when you guys talk about pasta, Greece pasta is like 10 levels above Italian pasta.
Really?
I was mind boggled by how much better the pasta was in Greece than it was in Italy.
Wow.
And I went to every major, like 5 or 6 different areas in Italy. It never leveled up to what Greece was. A lot of it is because everything's just fresher in Greece for whatever the fucking case might be. Like, I don't know what the reason might be behind it, but tomatoes have better crisp, like just so
It's that
fucking
virgin olive oil.
yeah,
as well.
that's where that fresh
where it's
olive
at.
oil comes from.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So definitely an experience worth taking. So, all right, we talked about diet, but I mean, I'm 207 pounds. If I wanted to be 240 pounds with a 6-pack, I'm not doing that naturally because
Right.
my body's just not built that way. So let's talk a little bit about gear. You mentioned it earlier about Nick with PEDs.
Yeah.
Let's talk about kind of, first of all, your first time doing it, because there's like
It was a Tuesday. And actually, dead ass. It was
a Tuesday?
For me, it was a Tuesday.
so.
Go ahead.
All right,
Tell
so my
Question.
first experience, real
Question.
quick. Go ahead.
What is gear?
Oh, gear is the juice. I heard somebody say, was that you? I was talking the other day.
Yeah.
Juice. You said juice like 10 times.
Performance enhancement.
I feel like it depends on your age bracket.
Yeah.
Steroids.
Yeah.
Gym candy.
I just hate steroid as a term. It's just like has such a negative connotation. Like everybody's like, you're on steroids. It's like, dude, there's so many different levels to this stuff. Like you could be taking like a little bit of TRT and it's like, you're on steroids. Like, no, dude, you're just taking like trying to bring your levels to like a high optimal natural level, you know?
So I did it twice. Once when I was 33, I wanted to play semi-pro football again, and I got into fucking a testosterone and Winnie stack. And fuck, did I notice fucking difference.
Yeah.
But I mean, you guys doing bodybuilding, I've probably seen some crazy shit. So I'm interested to see, like, is it year round? What led to you first doing it? Let's hear your stories. Let's start with you, Brandon, because you're like, it's a Tuesday. I fucking remember. I remember the day. So were you like against it? Were you like it's cheating?
Oh, yeah.
Were you like what was your thought process? And then what ultimately led you to say fuck it?
Yeah, so whatever. Because my first competitions, I was just doing a natural, until I was 24.
Oh, so your first 4 years you were completely natural.
Yeah, I think.
Fuck yeah, dude. Good for you, man.
It was 23 maybe. I think maybe 23. It was literally a Tuesday, January 1st. So new year, new fucking me.
Most people are like sitting at home talking about my resolution is to quit smoking. He's like,
mine's to do drugs.
I'm gonna fucking inject myself with some shit.
Right.
All right.
So I mean, I started off. It was a very small. I mean, I didn't do injections until like 9 or 10 months after that. It was just I just did Winnie. That's it. It was just something very because I was on that bulk. I was bulking natural, so I was kind of a heavier freaking guy at the time. I mean, I think I first time finally hit like 200 pounds or something, so I was a little tubby at the time. So I think I just did like Winnie for a little bit. So yeah.
If I was 200 pounds, I was like 220 my last show.
What's
yeah, freaking! I'm on stage at 160.
What's Winnie?
All right.
What's
So
Winnie?
Winnie is like a wind straw. I know.
Winstraw. I don't remember the medical name for it is. I can look it up. But go ahead.
Well, yeah. It's more like it's kind of. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, because I know you're way more into it than I am. I know it helps kind of a little bit with the weight loss and a little bit of a. Right, Nick?
Yes, statinozole. I think is how you.
God bless you.
Whatever. Yeah. Anyways, Winstraw. Actually, it's actually a big misconception that it's actually like a cutting drug.
Right. It's not like it's not like Tren.
You're not gonna lose weight, or even Tren. Like Tren, only reason why Tren helps you lose weight is because it raises your body temperature a little bit.
Correct.
But Winstraw, it's a hardener, so it allows your more blood to be in your muscle and your fibers to hold more. So it kind of expands your glycogen levels a little bit too. So that way you can look and be fuller. So it gives you that hard, dense look. It doesn't, and it makes you very strong. That's the other thing it does too.
Fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, very strong. It also
like to the point where people are like, I know he's on steroids.
Yeah,
like because you just went up like 150 pounds in 30 days on your deadlift. Like fucking
and it dries you out too. So one of the things when you
That's
get
it,
you get harder as from a density standpoint, a lot of times your joints will dry out as well. So so you have to like be careful. It's like a double-edged sword, right? Like people will take it to be strong, but if you take it for too long, your joints will dry out, and then you are far more at risk of tearing something. When I tore my bicep the first time I was taking Winstraw, and I think that played a big factor in it.
Right, and then of course, like when you're on, especially orals, you got to make sure you take stuff for your kidneys, for your liver. I mean, of course, like joints, 100%, all that other fun stuff.
Yeah, your liver and kidneys. Winstraw is it's tough for the liver and kidneys to break it down too. So yeah, you definitely want to be taking supplements to strengthen your liver and kidneys. I usually do like a triple dose glutathione, like a 1500 milligram glutathione IV drip every other week. That's one thing that I do that helps keep my insides.
What is that?
That's it's like a peptide. Yeah. It's basically it's used in a lot of these IV clinics for anti-aging, but it does have great effects on healing your liver and kidneys as well. So so you can it's a really great drug for just about anybody. I guess that's not even a drug, but yeah, and it's legal, 100% legal.
You're talking about the one you're just what was it? brought up? What did you say?
Glutathione?
Glutathione.
Yeah, glutathione. Yeah, you can buy it, like, you can go up to, I
So
go
it's
to
just like
Restore.
a natural overbody, like, refresher kind of.
Yeah, most people go there because it reduces free radicals, which are these cells in your body that like it's an aging cell. So basically, we all age because we have these radical cells that just break shit up in our body, and then eventually you get old and you die. And so it helps reduce free radicals. So you're not like aging as quickly is what that's the reason, that's what they market it as.
Yeah.
But it also helps heal your liver and kidney, so it reduces the free radicals there, but also detoxes your body.
That's something you find at a clinic somewhere.
I go to this place called Restore. It's, you don't have a doctor or anything
Toys
like
R
that.
Us.
Yeah, Toys R Us. Yeah. You can order on like a lot of the peptide sites too, but I like it through an IV. I think that's the best way. And so it's like, I don't know, $200 a month, and I get these 2 IV drips a month, and that's what I choose to use it on. And the hydration from the IV is great too. So
do you do that instead of getting your blood taken out?
No,
Or
I do
both?
the dump too.
Yeah, I do the dump.
All right, hold on. So hold on. You talked about blood again. Let's get back to your story though. You
Yeah,
started
do
off
your
with
story.
you started off with Winnie.
Yeah.
Did you know, like, I mean, Winnie for me was like an immediate, like 10 days in, I was like, holy fuck. So did you notice like the big
I
difference?
didn't really, because I think like in my mindset, like steroids is like, yeah, fucking poke. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck is this little?
This is like a
This is
testosterone booster.
Flintstones, man. I'm like, this is
Yeah.
fucking Flintstones. So I had no necessarily really. So I didn't really see the results. I think also too because I was doing like a bulk. So I
Yeah.
just thought steroids too, like, yeah, it makes you get shredded.
Yeah.
So that's why I was like at 23, 24. Like that's what I thought it was. And then I didn't really like necessarily see the results, like me personally, just in my head until I was doing like the cut, which was like maybe like six months or whatever.
Okay.
On that. But yeah, and then
So you didn't do anything else. You just did Winnie alone.
I believe that's what I only did. Yeah, I think it was just Winnie. I mean, when I started off, I mean, I would do it like every other day.
Okay.
Right, for like 2 weeks, and then until you just do it once a day.
Okay.
Right, because it was an oral.
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
time.
So was that something that your coach recommended for
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and then like when I got into the poke, the juice, some would say, that's
juice?
when
Juice? Where? The juice. Okay.
I remember the first time doing myself because I was a little bitch. I could never like do it to myself. Right, I just remember just.
That was the same way.
And I was just remember like in the bathroom upstairs, my mom's downstairs like, don't come up here, you're gonna fucking ground me, you're gonna kick me out of the house. I was like sweating.
So
I'm
wait, where did
sweating.
you poke yourself first?
I've only ever done shoulder and lat.
Really?
That's
Never done
Oh,
ass?
man. I've
No,
done
I've never done ass. No.
Doesn't want to
Really?
fuck
You
up
don't
the
want to put in your
pumpkin
pumpkin?
tattoo.
Yeah.
The other cheek, I'm gonna get a bullseye, so I know exactly what to poke.
See, for me, like the first time I did a test, like I thought the ass was like the least, like it was the most simple
It's the most
instructions.
meat.
They're like, look at your ass cheek in the mirror and cut it into force, and they're like, go for this top right one right here and just fucking go in. So
upper
like,
outer quadrant, yeah.
I was always afraid, like, one, if you had any kind of like issue with it or whatever, like I don't want it to be somewhere that could be seen. But so you did it in the lat?
I've done it in the lat before
That
because
sounds fucking awful.
yeah, don't do the fucking lat.
I like the lat. I like the
my
lat. That's
God.
good. Yeah.
No, well, one, it's like my mobility sucks. So I'm up here pushing it this way, up against the wall.
You got to use like a door jam.
Yeah, door jam on this hand. I'm pulling this one here, so then I could just. And then I always hit the vein. So then when I'm doing shoulder press, one arm is like this. So I did that for maybe like 2 months. I'm like, I'm going back to shoulders. Like, no, fuck that. No.
So you're just doing outside of your shoulder block?
yeah.
Because I mean, what's the difference from where you're putting it? Does it actually matter, or is
No.
it just like easy
No.
injection sites?
You're just trying to avoid nerves and
Yeah.
stuff, so that way you're not getting like any type of like
yeah.
serious pain.
Like I remember watching like obviously so I never had anybody else do it. I did it on myself every time. The first time I did, I must have watched the same YouTube video like 25 times
yeah.
because I was like, what if I hit my fucking sciatic nerve, or what if I hit this, or what if I hit this?
So
And it was pretty fucking simple and easy. I was actually like, oh, that's not that bad.
yeah, I've done shoulders, lats, glutes. I've done triceps. What else have I done? I did do hamstring once, but I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, so a lot of times when you're in contest prep too, you're taking a larger volume of oil.
Correct.
So like a lot of people think like we take a bunch of steroids for like to get big. We actually take less in the off season than we do in prep.
Yep.
So taking it in prep allows us to diet ourselves really hard and not go catabolic and lose any muscle. So that's like the big thing for us when you take the most, but that requires a lot of oil, requires a lot of fast acting PEDs. So you have to pin like every day, every other day typically. So that's when you start to use different injection sites because you're still sore from the day before, you know?
All right. So go ahead. Fucking interesting, but I want to get back to that. So you start off with Winnie. What was the next step for you?
I think probably test an NPP.
Okay.
I believe that's what it was.
Now, what's MPP? I'm familiar with testosterone, but what's MPP?
Break it down for me, Nick.
MPP is a fast-acting version of DECA. So it functions the same way in the body as DECA is. It's a 19-noir. There's 3 different steroid types. There's 19-noirs, which are like Tren, Ment, DECA, MPP. Then you have testosterone derivatives.
Let's break those down individually. So you have the first one you said is what's considered that group?
19-noirs. Yeah, those are the strongest forms of steroids, usually with the most
hardest, most side effects, most likely.
Effects, yeah.
And what are those all designed to do? Is there anything particular, or they all have? Is it like everything?
It's just
else?
their chemical makeup. So I mean, there can be other like.
But I mean, like, is that set? Let's say, like, I want to do one of these first level. Are they all going to do the same thing, or are some built for bulking, some built for like cutting?
Yeah, they're all very different. It's funny because like DECA and EQ function almost the same in the body. They both are good for endurance. But they're 2 different categories of steroid. So it's just the chemical makeup, but that's usually the trifecta of categories. And then testosterone derivatives is the second one, which is all your tests things. And then there's like EQ and a bunch of other ones there. And then there's DHTs, which are usually your hardeners. That's your Winstrol, your Masteron, things like that. So those are like the 3 like basic categories, even though sometimes they cross, like one thing might be in one category and function the same as the other. The DECA and the EQ are like my biggest example because those are the ones that most people know. I love studying this stuff. So like I know all these like niche steroids. Like I was reading about like cheek drops or whatever the other day, which are like people give them to like fighters and stuff. It's like a big aggression thing and whatever. Yeah, it's crazy. So, but I like all these like niche things too.
Well, and here's the thing. I mean, obviously, so when you get into test, you're at 24 at this point.
Yeah.
Side effects. No side effects at all.
Well,
now,
for me, honestly, the all mine, I started getting a little bit more, little acne on my back. But just because I can't fucking reach my back to wash it. In my shower at home, I have this thing that's on the wall, and I'm just like a fucking bear trying to wash my back because I have no mobility. Yeah, dead ass.
Fucking Baloo over here.
You're not stretching every day, huh, guys?
Oh, fuck no.
I stretch every day. I do mobility work every day.
I just have no mobility.
So hold on. So, what were the side effects that you said you barely? Little bit of back acne?
Probably like the whole 3-4 years. Probably just some acne on the back.
You have side effects, you just don't know it.
Sure.
Which are like the
small balls.
Small balls. Yeah.
So did you guys notice that?
What? Oh, the ball shrinkage?
Yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
yeah. 100%. Yeah. But it's just
but
the balls.
There's other
it's
benefits
not
of that, though, right? Like
correct.
Your dick looks bigger.
Your dick looks bigger.
I tell that like almost every fucking day at the gym. Kid, you're 16. Take drugs when you're older. Your dick will look bigger. It's false.
What do you want, a taller tree or a bigger bush? I mean, you know what I mean? No, but side effects for test are it will increase your estrogen levels, so you have to make sure you manage that.
So you're taking an estrogen
correct,
blocker.
Yeah. Like, there's my bad. When I was saying side effects, I was thinking like external.
Visual.
Visual.
But there are some internal.
Internal, yes. So
which
of
are
course,
important.
like when you're on your testosterone, you got to make sure your estrogen, which of course estrogen in the guys, that's high. Some people have to get gyno. Right?
Yeah.
So gyno is the one you have the puffy fucking nips and they're hard as hell.
Yeah.
Right. So you got to take.
So that's because they're taking tests, but then they're not taking an estrogen
correct.
blocker. So basically, the body's telling them like, no, you need to be more you need some more feminine fucking shit to match up to your masculine side.
Yeah,
right?
it can happen from tests. It can also happen from high prolactin levels too. Can cause gyno.
Correct. Yeah. So like I believe a male's estrogen should be roughly around 8 or 9, just that, and a women's is roughly like 150 to 200.
Oh wow.
Right.
Shit.
So
yeah.
So that's why you want your levels freaking low. So
Yeah.
you got to take like a Arimidex, a Rimicin, Novadex, something like that.
Yeah, so, Novadex is a blocker. A Arimidex and a Romacin basically function the same way. They're an aromatase inhibitor, so they block the receptor. They don't actually block your levels, but they block the receptor. The Novadex will actually decrease your body's production of
So
estrogen.
let's look into it from this aspect of things too, though. Side effect: if I'm trying to have kids, I can't be on test currently, correct?
So that's a thing. Yes, that's what you'll read, but I can give you 100 examples of people, myself included, who got their significant other pregnant on testosterone.
I know people.
Yeah, dude. My daughter was born. I was taking, it was during my first cycle, and I was taking pretty much a bunch of stupid drugs. I didn't even know what they did. I just took them, and I'm like, I can't get you pregnant. And all of a sudden, she's pregnant. And it's funny because she was born, and the doctors were like, "We've never seen such a strong baby." I'm like, "That's the trend. It's the tremolo baby." Yeah. She holds her head up day one. Like, this is weird.
Day one, she's out there bench pressing,
Dude,
fucking like doing push-ups in the
curling the
grip.
umbilical cord.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. She come out with a fucking 6-pack and traps, you know. But
Well, it's interesting because before before I knew you guys were coming on today, like I know for a fact due to like the testing you can get, and I was actually hoping to have like PH Performance somebody on, but that I have low testosterone, and I think that's a side effect of from when I did testosterone before, and then maybe I didn't cycle off of it correctly, or maybe like
also
the fact I'm 42 years old also, right?
Yeah,
Plays
that's
a
what I
factor.
say.
So, like, when you talk about trying to get into it, there's not a lot of studies out there. Like, it's almost like they restrict the studies. Everyone wants to talk about how bad steroids are for you, how bad testosterone is for you, how all these things. But, like, they limit the amount of study. Like, there's not that many studies out there on there that are actually negative.
Right.
But
You
there's
just gotta
not.
make sure you take it the correct way.
Well, and that's the thing. And I was watching a couple of people that were on YouTube the other day, and they're like, yeah, the problem is like everybody will tell you it's bad for you. Nobody will tell you that it's actually could be good for you if you do it a certain way. And the problem is like there's this stigma around it that it's like anybody that's doing any kind of steroids, it's just terrible. When ultimately there's actually a lot of health risks about it. For instance, if you're a low testosterone person and you start taking testosterone, like one, you're more likely to build muscle, your bone density goes up, so your body's actually stronger and longer living.
it's easier for you to be like active and out and about.
Yeah, you have more energy. There's a lot of different aspects of it that are positive.
Sex.
Yeah, your sex life is, which is a good thing. That's like an antidepressant.
No,
type of
because
thing.
that's
Yeah.
100% a fact.
Yeah.
Like I'll be the first to say that my wife's hot as fuck, but at 42 years old with a 250 fucking testosterone level,
Yeah,
like
dude.
my sex
It's
drive is
dangerous.
just not what it is. When I met her, I was on test. And the fucking my sex
She's like,
drive
"What
is
happened,
fucking-
bro?"
She's
Like, you went from a fucking rabbit to a
Yeah.
fucking snail.
I
Like,
didn't
what's going
sign up
on?
for 250 tests, buddy. Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny because you talk about that because I'm 35 and I'm right on the border. I'm last time I got tested it was 280.
Oh, that's low.
Yeah, my one doctor, my endocrinologist wants me on test, but my other doctor, my normal pediatrician doctor, just doesn't want me on it because he needs me to do a sleep study. He wants to get some blood work done because he's like,
I got a guy for you.
Find a new doctor.
I know. Well, that's the thing. I'm like, because my two doctors are literally emails I got from them. They're fighting with each other through email. Yeah. One wants me on test. One doesn't want me on test. He's like, the test will help me. He's like, I want you on 100 milligrams every 3 days.
Yeah.
He's like, I need your test to be up to like 400 to 500 back up.
Well, and that's
Yeah.
not even
Right.
that extreme because
No.
I'm sure
No,
you guys
no,
could.
right.
What are you guys both on test right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We pretty much.
So what are you guys on a day like? What's your test schedule look like?
Well, real quick before you get into
Yeah.
that, so according to a study by the University of Michigan, 1 in 4 men are low T over the age of 30. So 30, that's not even that old.
No,
okay?
it's not.
And the older you get, the higher that ratio goes. So I think a lot of men would benefit from testosterone. But the other side effect I was going to say with him when you get on it is it does deplete your natural production. So like
Right.
that's probably why yours is lower because you got off, you nailed it on the head. You have to take like an HCG or something like that to restart your testosterone, and it may never come back to the same thing. So that's one risk that you have to understand.
Well, the
you're
other
taking.
aspect of it too, like I was in my early 30s. I didn't have a coach, so like
Sure.
I was also fucking around with SARMs at that point in time. Which
Yeah.
SARMs they say is a natural fucking steroid, but
Yeah.
ultimately I think almost every bad side effect I had was coming off of a SARM.
I think they're worse. They're legitimately worse
I
because
think so.
at least with like actual steroids, we have case studies over years of research that we know what they do. We know what the side effects are. SARMs are so new, we have no clue. So it's just you're kind of uncharted waters there.
Well, it's like I feel like that comes into the pharmaceutical industry. Same
Yeah.
way it does is it's like the supplement industry. Like anything that's legal, there's going to be less negative side effect research on, but more positive. And
COVID vaccine.
Yeah,
There you go.
COVID
Yeah.
vaccine, 100%. I
Where
have
did you
2
cancel?
friends right now that are fucking in their early 30s, and they're about to fucking die because they have to go get their hearts fucking measured for the
Yeah.
next week and shit. And it's like, God, dude, you're like the fourth person I heard that from. But you're right. Like, it's not beneficial. Where SARMs being legal, it's a lot easier to put positive stuff out there regarding them. If you Google SARMs, I 100% guarantee you're going to get better results as far as how it's good for you versus, because it's a natural steroid, versus steroids or testosterone specifically, which, yeah, there's side effects, but there's side effects to a lot of the things that we do. I mean, on a natural basis.
Well, that's why
like,
we were just talking about food.
yeah, food's 100%. You talked about low testosterone. Yeah, I'm sure the way that I came off of it, the fact that I'm older, but it's also the fact that we drink everything out of a plastic bottle. Half of our food is fucking processed. Like, there's a lot of other things that probably are limiting the testosterone development in men as they get older, because it's way lower. Even like I saw something the other day that the average testosterone level for a 20-year-old man is under 700.
Yeah.
For the first time in like any time in history, we've never been able to gauge levels that low in teenagers, basically.
Yeah, according to the Cleveland Clinic, like your level should be somewhere between 300 and 800 is usually like
the
their
average.
range. Right. Yeah, which is a huge broad spectrum. But
it's extremely.
In my opinion, you should be probably on the high end of that. You know, anywhere from like maybe 600 to 1,000. I think it'd be beneficial. That'd be optimal.
Yeah. That's what my doctor was telling me. He's like, between the ages of like 20 to 30, you should be between 600 to 800. Mm-hmm. And then again, when you hit the age of 35, every year you drop like 5%.
I believe that.
Yeah, 5%.
I think it's less than that. I think no, because I thought it was. That's why I did test at 24. Because at 24, that's when your body stops technically making it for you.
Yep.
So then, because granted, if you do testosterone at 20 or 18, which some kids are doing it right now for no fucking reason because it's stupid, it's because your bottle's already fully at 100% until you're at 24. So if you're just adding more, it's just getting wasted.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is like the big moral of this whole story is like get your blood work done and figure out where you're at, because if you're a kid that's naturally has 1,300 tests, which I've seen, dude, I've seen kids that like they get their blood work done, they have 1,300, 1,500 tests naturally. Why am I going to put them on tests, dude? I'm gonna have to take so much in order to get above that, you know, like just ride that out, you know, until it starts to deplete, you know.
So when you talk about test levels, where are you guys at like right now? Because you and I have had a conversation before when I wanted to get back on it like 4 or 5 years ago, like where I should start at. But like, so where does the average person start at, and then where do you get to the point where you guys are in competition and you guys are trying to like really like do some extreme stuff? Where does that get to?
So my levels normally they stay the same, or like during the prep or whatever. Like right now, I'm at like 1 cc test and 2 cc mast. Tuesdays and
mast is
250 like cypionate or ethanate.
Yeah, cypionate. Yeah.
So mast is another different steroid.
Oh yeah,
Masteron.
Masteron. So what's the benefit of Masteron versus test?
It works with test. It's like a lot like the Winstrol. It's just it's an injectable DHT. Allows you to get harder and keep that fullness. So and it's anabolic too. I mean, it's all the DHTs. All these steroids that we're taking, you are going to get more protein synthesis from them, and they are anabolic, so they're going to help you grow. But the main draw to Masteron is the hardness and the fullness that you get, which will help increase pumps and help break down muscle and recover faster.
Okay.
Which is why, of course, you eat the carbs before you go into the gym.
Yeah.
But with that being said, so you take 250 test and what's your mass, like mass 200 or mass 250?
2.
Yeah, so you take 250 tests, 400 mass. Like is that like a normal push for you, like a normal like off season cycle?
Yeah, normally. Yeah, I usually either do that or I fucking love Primo. I love Primo so much. I named my fucking cat Primo.
Primo
My cat's name is Primo. I like Primo.
Primo Bolin is like the healthy version of Masteron. It's I should say healthy. It's healthier. It's a better. There's less side effects. Some people don't think it's as strong, but it has way less side effects. And I actually can't take Primo.
Oh, dude,
it doesn't work good for me.
Oh, friggin' 3 days later, dude, I'm like, incline benching. Literally, I just add another fucking plate. Another 8.
Like, it fucking doesn't matter.
It gave me cystic acne. Like, it's weird. And that's the other thing too. Is like you
Right,
can have
different things
weird
do
side
different-
effects.
yeah.
Yeah, I was
for
gonna say.
people.
So I've seen you with some severe fucking acne before.
Yeah.
That's obviously like a side effect that people initially like associate with
Yeah.
steroids.
Right.
But so you're saying like some steroids will react differently than others.
Correct.
For me personally, it's a very, very, very small portion. Like you have to dig deep to find people that actually got cystic acne from Primo, because Primo is such a mild drug that it like you don't get hardly any side effects from it. So, and it was an accident that I found out what it was, because for about a year I had this bad acne, and me and my coach were trying to troubleshoot it, and he had never seen this before either, and I accidentally ran out of Primo, and so I wasn't taking it for like a week till it could come in, and all of a sudden my acne started to clear up. I'm like, shit, dude, like maybe it was the Primo, and then we started digging a little deeper. And, the internet has a lot of stuff stored away. And we found some data that showed that Primo can cause, in rare instances, cystic acne. So he can take Primo, and it gives him a great result. I take it. I can't do it. So I stick with Masteron when I want that effect.
Gotcha. So you like Primo versus Mass.
My pumps, I mean, and like I said, I'm happier. It makes me fucking happy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm good. I'm in a good motivation. I'm good mood. Weight goes up better, too, in the gym. But even outside of the gym, I'm clear-headed and I'm golden.
Yeah, Primo's a great drug. It's really good. A lot of females will take Primo because it's where they can't take Masteron, because it's there's no virilization side effects, so you don't get any like the manly side effects from Primo. I think I'd have to check this. I think Primo is a testosterone derivative and not like DHT.
It is.
Yeah, so that's why you don't get the DHT drugs. Those are the ones that are usually associated with hair loss. So like if you take Masteron and you have the hair loss gene, you'll lose your hair faster. If you don't have the hair loss gene, you take it for too long, you probably will go bald. That's why there's a lot of bald bodybuilders. So that's like one of the things that's associated with it. Yeah, and then it's very, very androgenic. So you'll get, like, if your female takes Masteron, they'll get the low voice, they'll get a forehead that grows, they'll get
that's where they get the
clit gets huge. Yeah. So
Makes it easier to find, though.
Easier to find. Yeah. Google that, dude. Google like enlarged clit, bro. It's crazy, dude. So
Let's just say I've seen a few.
Leave my ex out of this.
yeah. So, but Primo doesn't have any of those side effects, but does a similar thing to the Masteron.
All right. So from what you sound like, it's a pretty regular, normal, low dose for you for the most part.
Yeah,
right?
normally I'm always normally on low dose.
How long do you stay on for, or do you
Like 8 months.
Like 8 months, yeah.
Maybe, and then I cycle off for like 4 months.
Oh, you cycle off completely for 4 months?
Yeah. Do you take like a HCG or
Yes.
anything? Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
HCG all the time, or
every
what?
other day. Every other
For
day.
for every all year long.
Oh, for like
No,
when
for
I'm,
the
when
off
I'm
cycle.
off.
When you're off, so you're
off
taking
the
an
juice.
HCG whenever you're off the juice.
So this is a difference between somebody that's 24 and somebody like me that's 35, sorry. But so he's cycling off. So this is going to allow him to be able to have kids, or be more likely to have kids or whatever. I don't really give a shit if I have kids. I have 3 kids now, so I don't need any more. Yeah, at least. I don't know. I haven't had any knocks
So
on
if
the door in a
anything
while.
for you, it's like cheap birth control.
Yeah, dude,
That-
well,
like none
it's-
of the negative side effects of, well, it's not cheap, but it's
I was gonna
it,
say shit.
it
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
have
very
the
expensive
negative
birth
side
control.
effects to your wife having to put all
Yeah.
kinds of shit in her body not to have kids.
For sure. Well, she still made me get a vasectomy, which is another story, because she's nervous. Because like you watch like Derek Lunsford, last year's Mr. Olympia, had a kid this year. It's like that dude, of course, is taking a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? And all these pros are having kids and stuff. It's like, nah, dude, they're not cycling all the way off. So I wouldn't use it as a foolproof thing.
Yeah.
But if you are concerned about your ability to have kids later, this is a better way to go about it. So
Gotcha. That's good to know, because people don't talk about that. Like they just automatically assume like, oh, when you start doing tests, you're not going to be able to have kids.
Yeah.
You're
And-
saying like, no, you just take yourself in the off season. You're a little bit healthier with it. You do something to prepare for yourself.
Well, and the only-
does that help your natural testosterone level? Like if you're 3 months into the off season, are you getting your levels checked? And
Yeah, I usually get them checked like every quarterly. So like every
quarterly
3 months. Every
so
3
do
months.
you notice a big difference in your test levels and your blood levels like during comp versus
Oh, yeah.
off season? What do you where do you go for your blood test, I guess, for one, and then two, like what do you notice the biggest differences are off season versus active season?
Well, I normally get mine like every 3 months. Like right when I get my blood test, and then I go get my fucking blood taken out.
Okay.
Because steroids
The
also
dump.
make. Yeah, you gotta take a dump.
Yeah, the blood dump. Yeah.
What's the blood done real quick before we go into the next part?
So I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, because steroids, they also thicken like a part of like your blood.
Your hemoglobin.
Your hemoglobin. Thank you. So of course, you don't want your heart to be pumping even faster than it fucking has to, right? So all that stuff has to get taken out somewhere.
Yes.
Like especially when I'm on prep, and you're taking a little bit more drugs and your lower body fat, your heart's pumping more on it. Sometimes you get bad freaking nosebleeds just because that blood has to get fucking out.
Is it like dialysis or something?
No, it's not dialysis. It's like basically what it is when you take any type of steroids, even testosterone, your red blood cell count, your hemoglobin will go up naturally. So the way to regulate that is you donate blood or take blood out of your body.
Okay.
Then your body will make new blood.
Okay,
And it'll be thinner. So it's like think of it an oil change for your body. It's healthy to do anyways, but like for us, it's imperative. And I would say I would really have anybody that is even taking TRT. I think it's a good idea to do that, especially if you get your blood work done and then see like, oh, my hemoglobin's a little bit elevated, my red blood cell count's a little bit elevated. Let me go to the Red Cross and donate blood. It's free. You know what I mean? So it doesn't cost you anything.
Grandpa's gonna get my blood.
Yeah. You're fucking huge.
Grandma's gonna be yoked.
They can actually use the blood, actually, because it's at that point nothing in there is going to affect anything poorly. For
Yeah,
I gotta take
Red Cross. Yeah, you get the fucking free socks. Like
free
absolutely.
socks. Oh yeah.
All right, time out for. I gotta take a leak. I can't hold this fucking any longer.
No.
Your camera's off again.
It's been going on and off the whole freaking time. So Nick, I know you play Magic the Gathering.
That's
so
right.
I'm gonna edit this out, so just hang out.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No. Do you have any Lord of the Rings? Because that's what I'm looking for, the collector's booster packs.
Oh yeah.
That's what I've been trying to look for that because I'm trying to find more of those the Rings of Power.
Yeah.
Because they're still out there. Just not all of them have been released on the general public.
Yeah. So I haven't actually bought a Magic card in probably 3 years or so.
Okay.
But I do. Well, that's not true. I bought in like a couple singles or whatever. But the only Lord of the Ring cards I know that I have in my collection are the One Ring card.
Yeah,
that card. Yeah,
that's
the One Ring.
Yeah, I have one of those, but I have one of like 100 and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to find the rare ones, like 1 of 10, 1 of 5.
Oh yeah. You want the serial ones?
Yeah, I want the.
I don't have that shit. Yeah,
that's what I've been looking for. I've been trying to find it, but the booster packs that are collectible ones that have the cereal stuff in it, they're just trying to sell them for like $100, $200.
On the hope that you might pull one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Dude, you should see what an alpha beta booster pack goes for. It's like fucking $20,000. So.
I couldn't. Well, I was at like what's it called? Sweets and Geeks today.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. So I think it's beneficial if we tell the audience like some of the reasons why you like we don't take any of this stuff. We're not slacking anywhere else. You know, we're not out. We're drinking water. We're not.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can get into that because I mean I'd be happy to share my story on that aspect as well too. Because like there's a difference. Like, you know, people talk about different results they have on something. Like I've done that twice now, and like I was in a different place first time as I was like right before I got, you know what I mean? My second time I'm about to get married, I'm drinking, I'm partying, like I'm going 2 days without a workout, 3 days without a workout, like.
Well, and that's the thing too is like there's levels to it, right? So there's like, hey, I'm taking a little TRT, I'm taking a little TRT and maybe a small amount of Primo or something like that. Hey, I'm taking fucking 20 units of growth hormone. I'm doing insulin every day. I'm taking tests, NPP, Masteron, all this big laundry list of shit, and it's like, yeah, dude, when you get to that point, the more you take, the better your plan should be. I mean, really, if you're just a regular TRT guy, you can kind of live that mixed lifestyle. The minute you start to take all these other drugs that have negative side effects and like can be tough on your liver and kidneys and your heart and stuff, you have to give up a lot of the things that you like to do in life. Eat like shit. If a drug's going to give you one of the side effects is high cholesterol, you think we'll go and eat burgers with that? It's a good idea?
Yeah,
probably not.
right.
You know what I mean? So you have to like kind of take all that into account, I think, which is I think some good information for people because I don't want anybody to watch our podcast and go like, man, all right, I need to get some fucking tests and master on now and I'll be good, So
Yeah, we'll bring that.
Yeah.
Next, Brandon, you ready to go, brother?
Yeah.
Girlfriend at home, wondering where you're at.
Yeah,
You're fucking.
One just got there, another one's on the way. No.
Oh, we've heard those stories before.
No.
yeah.
Girlfriends, if you know the other girlfriend is at the house, don't show up.
Good thing for that is Ring cameras. I learned recently.
Highly recommended.
One time we were in the gym, my wife was
Hold
like,
on a second, we got to come back to this.
Okay.
And action.
All right, we're back. We're back. Let's hold on. We're all talking about Ring cameras, girlfriends, multiple girlfriends. Brandon's got like 8. They all showed up at his house at the same time.
8.5. One's in a wheelchair now.
now. Yeah.
2 midgets.
Whoa. So it's actually 8 2/4. Yeah, I like that.
He's got a handicap spot in his thing now, yeah. He had to make room for the handicap accessible van.
All right, so before we had to all take piss breaks, we were leaving off with just kind of where you guys are at as far as the levels that you guys are taking, and kind of what are some of the side effects that are out there, and what people say they are versus they actually are, etc. You mentioned though, like you guys being on 2 completely different levels of cycles, right? And then Brandon, you're 27. You said 28.
Yep, 27.
And Nick, 35.
Yeah, 35. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the different levels that you're at, because you guys are both yoked. You're both fucking competing well. Brandon, you've been in 8. You said.
Yeah, he's won more than I have.
No, I just win. Period.
Yeah.
So you've won 8 out of the 8 you've been in. Fucking hey, dude. Yeah. Now all bodybuilder.
And then last show I did bodybuilding and I also did classic.
What's the difference?
So there's 3. There's 3 men opens.
Yeah.
So there's physique, classic physique, and then bodybuilding.
Okay.
Right? So physique, that's just when you wear the board shorts.
Those are the
All
good
right,
guys.
so that's like the guy who's like 6 foot, 180, ripped,
Right.
Abercrombie model.
No
Right.
legs. No legs.
Right? No legs.
right.
Yeah,
Right.
no legs. Thin
Yeah.
legs. Yeah.
All-
Abercrombie
all-
model.
Yeah, all upper body.
Yeah.
And then there's classic.
Okay.
So of course that's like your C-bum and all those other guys. So
Okay.
basically, how would you say?
More aesthetic physique.
Yeah, I was gonna say more kind of look like Arnold.
So
Arnold
like
did back
a
in the
regular, you
70s.
could be like a regular guy in the street, but you're cut to fucking shit.
No.
No,
You're like
still
your
big.
You're like your normal muscular dude. You have to have a well balanced physique, like a tight waist. Shape is really important. But
V shape.
I was gonna say
the V shape.
tight waist, but yeah, big legs as well though.
Okay,
Yeah.
big wigs. Okay.
And then of course there's bodybuilding, right? So
Open.
that's just when open. So that's when you're a little bit thicker. You got the bigger arms. You got the way bigger legs.
But now that's when
Everything.
you still have a 38-inch waist, but you fucking have a 6-pack with a 38 fucking inch
Right.
waist.
not
Like,
necessarily.
Well, I was
There's
gonna say
shredded.
There's some pretty aesthetic open dudes. They're just freaks. Like those are like the freaky dudes. The dudes are so thick and round, and you're just like, where the fuck did this dude
They
come
have
from?
like a turtle like as a back.
Yeah. You're like, yeah, those are that's what everybody wants to see for the most part. I mean, C-bum, a lot of people like C-bum or whatever for classic, but open is the big draw always. It's what gets paid the most. These guys are just anomalies. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
I have a little question about the bodybuilding. I've seen some bodybuilders have those, what do you call those, bubble guts?
Yeah.
What are those from?
That's a lot of HGH. Right?
Well, I disagree with that. HGH, a lot of people call that growth gut, right? 'Cause
Yes,
they take a
yes,
bunch of
yes.
growth hormone. I think it's from force feeding. That's what my biggest thing is. Like some of those guys have to get that big. They are pounding food all day, every day. They're eating 6, 7, 8 meals a day of giant meals, and your gut gets out of control. And if you don't pay attention to that and strengthen the muscles in your gut, then it's gonna expand and stretch.
So it's funny because I always thought that was steroid gut.
Yeah, it's.
Like is that you think that's a misconception?
I think it's a huge misconception.
yeah, I can see it that way too. Because just like everybody thinks steroids.
Well,
is
because
like
when
that.
you overeat, the first thing that happens is the
You get
top
bloated.
of your stomach is what blows.
Yeah.
It's not like your lower stomach doesn't get fatter. Like it's all in the upper fucking top of your abs.
That
so I
stomach-
could see that.
Yeah. So there's easy fixes to that. First one is vacuums.
Well, I was gonna say the first thing would probably be that thing you guys talked about earlier, with carbohydrates that are high
calorie dense. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
You
in high-
don't have as much, but even those dudes eat like even if they're eating pasta, I mean, they're eating a shitload,
I mean, yeah.
Yeah, they're eating all day. So to get to that size, like that's like the key ingredient is the food. You're force feeding food, and I would rather diet than force feed. I mean, that's my biggest limitation as a bodybuilder is I have a hard time. I'll throw it up. I have a hard time. So.
Yeah, 80% of it is diet. I agree.
Yeah.
20% is gym.
Yeah. So, but the vacuums can fix that, and the other thing that can fix that too is like mouth taping or using a CPAP. at night to make sure you're breathing a chest breather and not a gut breather. That will also help keep your stomach tight. And then just like the vacuums along with other like core tightening exercises to make sure your core
his wife
strong.
loves that.
Yeah, actually, she's the one that made me get the CPAP because I snore so bad.
That's what my doctor wants.
Yeah.
That's another reason why before I go on TRT, they want me on a sleep study to see if I need, because they said if
100%. I could just have your doctor call me. I
Yeah.
seen you. I seen you in a fucking car 30 seconds after we take off in Iceland to drive down the road, and like you're like fucking racking the fucking whole car with fucking windows are shattering from your snore, dude. So yeah, you 100% sleep apnea.
CPAPs are great, dude. I got one actually. I went to my doctor. My doctor's super cool. He like knows all the shit I do, and he's super cool with it. And I was like, "Hey, bro, what am I gonna do to get a CPAP? Because I just wanted one so I could get better quality sleep to grow. You know, because you recover at night." And he's like, "Has someone heard you snoring recently?" And he's like, "Give me a little wink." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "They said that it sounds like you haven't been breathing right." And he's nodding his head. I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I think I should order you a sleep study." I'm like, "Cool, thanks, man." Yeah, and that's what they did. And they sent me this thing. I wore it overnight, and boom, like a couple weeks later, like, "Yeah, here's your CPAP." And
Should I
insurance
go to
paid
him
for it.
if I need Percocets or anything?
Yeah. I don't know about that. He's pretty cool about the bodybuilding stuff. He told me, dude, he broke it down for me the one time. He was like, "Look, man," he's like, he's a local doctor. He's young, about my age. I think maybe you're younger. And he ended up, he told me one day, he says, "Dude, I get these dudes that come in that are overweight, that their blood work is shitty. They're eating cheeseburgers and drinking beer and doing all these other drugs or whatever." He's like, "You're taking performance enhancement drugs, but you're doing it to better yourself and to like, you know, achieve a goal. You know, you're eating straight, you're not drinking, you're not doing all these other things." So like, he's like, "Why would I judge you when I don't judge these other guys for eating like shit and, you know, having, you know, being obese or whatever." So, you know, he's pretty cool about it. You know, he'd much rather work with somebody that's using it for a productive reason.
Well, you know, you brought up a couple of great points that I wanted to touch on too. And I know, David, you've got some things you want to bring up, but like first of all, the condensation or the notion that you could just take steroids and be fucking bulk.
Yeah.
We haven't really talked about your training fucking schedules, guys.
But
like, do you just inject yourself in the fucking shoulder ass trap and fucking like gain 10 pounds of muscle? Or is there like, do you have to work out a little bit?
I don't know how it worked for you, Brandon.
Yeah, work your fucking ass off.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So what's a day at the gym? Now you mentioned you only go to the gym for an hour and then you do about a half hour of cardio.
oh, I'm a
So-
dick in the gym.
Okay,
I'm
so
an
talk to
asshole.
me about that. What does that mean? Like you're like, get the fuck away from me. I just gotta get this shit done.
Yeah, I go to the UXL in Brunswick.
Okay.
Right? So I mean, I've been going there for a while. Everybody knows me. I'm like, "What's up? How you doing?" Fist bump, and then get the fuck away.
Yeah.
Right. Because like I said, I don't wear headphones, so I'm just there. It's my therapy from work and doing all this shit and working with dummies.
All right, fair enough.
So do what I gotta do, and get out, basically. So
I think like that, like you mentioned it, there's a lot that goes into it. When you decide to go down that rabbit hole of taking a performance enhancement drug, you need to make sure you're checking all your other boxes first. I get a lot of clients that are like, "Okay, cool, dude, when do I get my cycle?" I'm like, "Dude, you haven't been able to follow your diet for a week, for 2 weeks, for a month. Like, why would I give you drugs when you're not taking it's like building a house, bro, and the drugs are like power tools, okay?
Yeah.
So you can build a house without the power tools. It's going to take a lot longer. It's going to be harder to build a bigger house, you know what I mean? So, but you need to have those building materials first, bro. If you don't have the lumber and the siding and all the shit to build your house, i.e. the food, then you're not going to grow. If you don't have the labor to build that house via training, it's not going to, the house isn't going to be built, you know? So the power tools are the last thing. You don't go to Sunbelt and rent a bunch of equipment and then be like, "Oh shit, I don't have a crew to run this thing," or "I don't have materials to put up." That's the last ingredient that you put up. So that's the analogy I give to a lot of people. You have to do all the other things correctly. You know, me and Brandon are over here drinking water. As much as we both love bourbon, it's not in our best interest to drink bourbon and be on PEDs that might have negative effects with your liver. We're not going to compound those, you know? So there's lifestyle changes you need to make, and you have to be putting in the effort everywhere. And it's one of those things that if you just don't do everything correctly, you're just not going to get the results. I can't tell you people in the gym I've met and they're like, "Oh man, this is my cycle," and they're taking triple what I take. And I'm like,
Yeah.
You look natural, bro. And that's because you don't do anything else other than the drugs, you know?
Yeah.
So you're just fucking your health up for no reason.
Yeah. You see the same thing like when obviously do you have a set like change, like you talked about being 8 on 4 off basically. So like is there a difference in your routine and your workout when you're on versus when you're off? Like do you have like a chill zone where you're like, hey, this couple months I'm gonna make sure I go to the gym, but I'm not gonna fucking work as hard? Or is it kind of the same thing? Like no, intensity is number one key.
Yeah, so usually every like 3 to 4 months, I usually change up my diet.
Yeah.
And I also change up like my workout plan and my splits and everything like that.
Okay.
So granted,
talk to me about that, like your workout plan. So like workout plan is like, hey, Mondays chest, Tuesdays buys, and then
just
starting
stuff
next
like that.
quarter I
push,
change it.
pull, legs,
Yeah.
stuff like that, back, buys, stuff of that nature. So like some like let's just say like for 3 months I'll do 4 sets of whatever. We'll do 12, 10, 10, 8, right, for reps. And the next month, it might be a high volume day or might be a high volume months or whatever. So it'll be like 20, 15, 12, 10.
Okay.
Right? So then you're just keeping the body guessing what the fuck you're doing.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, for me, like I train just as hard as I do on cycle versus off cycle.
I agree.
The difference is my ability to train hard changes. So like, you're gonna end up going down in weight. You're gonna end up failing a little bit sooner, whatever. But I still train to failure, whether I'm on cycle or off cycle. I would agree with Brandon with the food. The food comes down a little bit because you don't need that many calories because you don't have as much protein synthesis that's able to happen. So because your intensity is the same, but you're not able to burn the same amount of calories, you don't need that many calories for your workout. So
Okay.
yeah.
David, I think you said you had something you wanted to kind of. Hopefully, we can still segue into what you had.
Sure. Yeah. No. Man, I'm just fascinated over here and going a million different directions with this.
You could do a whole segment on PEDs, dude.
Yeah, and I guess to continue some of that part of the conversation here, I mean, I love hearing like your doctor is integrated in the lifestyle with you, right? Because earlier we're talking about obesity, and I think about healthcare now, and I think about what's socially acceptable, things like Ozempic. We've talked about that.
That shit's horrible.
Right. And so, you have, I'm certain that you have people that have had the conversation with their doctor, like you're sort of the opposite of what you're saying. Like they walk in, it's like, okay, well, they're a smoker, they're fucking overweight. Like I can smell the McDonald's on them and they have all these other issues, but I'm going to give you, this drug because it's highly profitable and it's going to impact their life. They're going to lose 30, 40 pounds and they're going to, sort of feel great, maybe.
And then die from kidney failure.
Right? And that's acceptable. But so to segue that in here, so you'll have to indulge me here for just a little bit, because when you go looking for any sort of research on this topic, right? Like there's ugliness in this, but like this has been presented in a pretty positive light. Like both of you guys are super well informed and educated on this. That's why I can appreciate your passion about it, because it's your own body, it's your health, it's your life, right? You feel good about it. Love that. I can put a lot more respect behind that than say somebody loses 40 pounds on Ozempic, just taking getting a fucking shot or whatever, right?
Everybody wants that magic pill, dude. Even with they think the steroids a lot of times are a magic pill.
Right.
That's why we were talking earlier. I don't really like the term steroid so much, not because it's not a good term or whatever, but it has this negative connotation of, oh man, you're gonna kill yourself because you take this stuff. Nah, I just, if you do it the right way, there's a right and a wrong way to do it. There are guys that die early death from steroids, but it's because they weren't doing all the other things correctly, or they took risks that they knew they were taking and they ignored it, and because they wanted to be so big and they didn't care, and that happens. I mean, that was their choice to make. Yeah, I definitely think like anybody that does go down that rabbit hole needs to be informed, and needs to at least be working with somebody that's really well informed and trust them. And then to the flip side of what you said with the Ozempic, yeah, that stuff is like fucking horrible. They did a 60-minute special on it in Australia of all the people that died from it that had that, and like all the Hollywood stars are getting this like stroke face type of thing from it. Super bad for you. It actually is more catabolic than anything. So out of all the weight that you lose, I think like 70% of it's muscle mass. So yeah, you're gonna lose some fat, but the muscle mass is
buck.
Yeah,
and Ozempic butt.
Yeah, dude.
Goddamn.
The only time I think it would be acceptable to use is for like the 600 pound life people that like literally cannot stop fucking eating, and they're gonna eat themselves to death. I think at that point, like it's probably more it's beneficial because they're just not going to do the stuff you're asking them to do. So you have to get the weight off somehow.
Well, the other aspect is, and David, I don't want to lose track of where you're at, but I look at the first time I did a testosterone and Winnie cycle versus my second time doing it. Like the first time I was doing it because like I was getting ready to play semi-pro football for my second year. Like I had goals. Like I was in the gym twice a fucking day. I was working out like a fucking, like there was nobody that was going to next level me at the fucking gym. Like I was in it. My second time, I was like, well, I was just trying to look better for like my fucking wedding and fucking my honeymoon photos.
Look good naked.
Like that. Yeah, right. So like, I like while I was still working
Make the dick
out,
look bigger with the smaller balls.
while I was still working out and still doing it, and there was like some differences. Like it wasn't as extreme. Like the first time, like I look back, I'm like, God damn, fucking my six pack was fucking bolting out fucking my stomach. Like fucking I gained at least 1.5 inches on my arms over the case of like 60 months, of course 60 months or 60 days. Versus my second time, like they were not as noticeable. Like then they were noticeable, like I puffed up, like I look like I fucking gained a little bit of muscle, but like I didn't see any of the retention of all the other positive ass side effects. And it was the way that I trained. Like I didn't train the same. Sure. And it's funny because when you hear people talk about like, you mentioned like David, when you're talking about Ozempic is like a quick fix drug, but when you talk about like the negative side effects or the negative condensation around steroids is like nobody talks about like these motherfuckers that are on steroids that are fucking bodybuilders and they're performing like next fucking level workouts. They are fucking extremely fucking focused on their diet, on the way that they do all the other positive things, like you said, not drinking alcohol. They're getting to make sure they get an amount of sleep, especially when it gets closer to prep time or to fucking showtime. The food that they're putting in their body, what food they're putting in their body. And we're talking about like, oh, these minor side effects of some of these drugs versus the fact that you could walk into the doctor right now and tell them that your fucking shoulder hurts because you fucking strained it lifting, and they'll give you fucking Percocet, fucking, all these other other drugs that have opiates that have so many more worse side effects that are so much more addictive. Because I can tell you from firsthand notice, like testosterone is not addictive in the fact that I need the testosterone to survive. It's just addictive in the results that I'm getting if I'm getting them.
I feel good. I look good. I want.
Yeah, but if I stop getting them, like it's like I don't really want to put a shot in my ass tomorrow. Yeah. So it's interesting when you bring up both sides of points. So go ahead and continue with where you're going with that, David.
Yeah, and I think this is mostly a message to the audience out there in that this entire thing we're talking about here is not an Ozempic. It's not something that you're going to buy in an alley and you're just going to experiment with it on your own. Even though some do and some.
We're also not doctors and are not giving medical advice in any way.
Yeah, this is all theoretical.
Yeah.
I don't take anything.
So
don't tell Kenny Koo that.
So just to throw some things into the mix here, a little bit on the negative side. And again, this is more the audience here, I think would benefit from this. Physical consequences: liver tumors, cancers, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, kidney failure, severe acne. We talked about shrinking of testicles, but hey, it makes your dick look bigger, so that's cool.
Yeah.
That would probably make mine look like 14 inches or so in the metric system or whatever. Reduce sperm count, infertility, although, for some.
Yeah.
Increased risk of prostate cancer. The things I'm talking about are for men because, fuck the women. Then there's no women listening.
This is the Guys Night podcast.
This is the Guys Night
podcast.
Fuck women.
Yeah.
He-Man Woman Haters Club.
That's right. Yeah. Fuck women. Yeah. Evan did earlier.
Virgins.
Oh, he's like, shh, don't say
so,
that.
emotional consequences, dramatic mood swings, roid rages, depression, paranoia, jealousy.
That's bullshit.
I never reach out. Yeah, no.
So when I, again, doing research, and research is going to be curated by, the manufacturers, but it's interesting that all of the things we're talking about are manufactured by the same people are manufacturing Ozempic and everything else that's out there. It's all made sort of the same.
One thing I'll say before we even get into that is you look at any drug that you watch a TV commercial for, and at the end it's like could cause kidney failure, liver failure, and in some cases death. You know what I mean? It's
While they're smiling, playing with their kid.
Yeah. So like anything can cause negative stuff, right? The big thing for if you are going to go down that rabbit hole, and this is why we were talking about earlier, is you need to work with somebody or educate yourself enough to where you know what those side effects are. And I'll give you a really good example. So Equipoise is one of my favorite drugs. It actually was never made for human consumption. It was made for racehorses. Boldenone is the clinical name. Equipoise is the brand name. They give it to racehorses. It increases endurance and protein synthesis. So it lets you train harder for longer, and it helps you build muscle. So how does it do that? Well, it does that by increasing your red blood cell count, and which that's like the major side effect of it, which creates this what they call sludge blood, similar to like what we were talking about before. So if you leave that unchecked, you could get a lot of the high cholesterol, heart problems, things like that. So what do? We donate blood every 8 weeks. We're going to the Red Cross. We're donating blood. What else am I going to do? I'm going to take half a Cialis every single day, so that way it will thin my blood out. It makes my dick hard, so that's great. And then
Stay away from the elementary school.
Yeah. And the other thing is I take a baby aspirin, and so which is also good for your heart anyways, but it thins your blood out enough to where it will mitigate that side effect. Then you just monitor the blood work, make sure that everything comes back normal. If something's off, you go into a health phase, clean that out, fix it, come back on. All those side effects you mentioned aren't going to happen if you pay attention to your blood work. If you're the kind of guy that's just like, man, my buddy told me I should take this test and trend, and I'm going to run it for the next 2 years straight without doing any blood work or doing anything, of course you're going to have fucking problems. You know what I mean? So, and along with the cycle thing, it's more effective to cycle on and off and have these clean off phases. Because what happens is, let's just say you take 300 tests. Okay, it's my first cycle. I'm just going to take 300 tests. Pretty low amount, whatever. It's a TRT dose. Your body's so smart, it gets used to taking that 300 tests, right? So what do most people do? Is, well, no, now I need to take 600. So I'm going to go to 600. And the body's going to catch up. And I'm going to go to 800. The body's going to catch up, right? And all these bad things start to happen the higher you go. Or the better way to do that is I'm going to take 300 tests. Cool. We're going to take 300 tests. Or I'm going to go back down to my normal natural dose. Okay. The body re-regulates. I'm going to take 500 tests. Okay, cool. I'm at 500 now. Body catches up. I'm gonna go back down. So I'm gonna go down. So you keep getting this result without having to go into these super high doses where you're getting all these horrible side effects. So that's what all the pros do. That's what most of the people that are the biggest guys in the gym, they're cycling on and they're taking that clean out phase so the body can reset.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever done more than 1 cc a test ever.
Which is crazy to me. That's wild. So yeah.
So,
but he's also in his mid-20s.
Sure.
He's also been working out for quite some time. He's also figured out his cycle as far as like how to eat, how to prepare, how to prep, how to train, etc.
Do you know what your blood
and some of
levels
it's
are?
genetics too? I mean, let's be honest.
Sure. Genetics are a huge part.
Genetics are a fucking huge part. Like if you're fucking 6'5", 175 pounds in fucking high school, like bodybuilding isn't probably going to be your thing. And if it is, like it's going to take you fucking 10 years to hone it in. You know, Brandon is like a midget, fucking like a midget, little fucking stalky fucking ball of fucking rice and cheese and fucking all the other pasta he's been eating. And he's like fucking built to be a bodybuilder. So like all he needs is like little goose and fucking he's there.
A little bit might go a long way for Brandon too. Like it just depends on your body and your body's response. So I know there's a kid that takes the same dosage of me of test, and we both had our blood work done, and mine came back. My total test was like 3,800, which is super high. His was over 6,500. So
Damn.
we take the exact
Holy
same
shit.
stuff, the exact same everything, same weekly dose. His body's he's a hyper responder. So he can take a little bit and do that. And I would venture to say Brandon's probably the same way. That's why I was asking him what his blood test.
I don't know it offhand.
You don't know anything? Yeah. So I would be curious to see what his blood tests are, because his dose is actually very low.
But it's interesting though. You guys both talk about getting your blood test. Mm-hmm. If a doctor prescribes you some medication, like, are you going to get, like most people, regardless of what that medication is, they're not going back in 30 days.
Checking their blood work.
Yeah. To like get their blood work checked or do this. Like, you guys are looking at it from a part of like, hey, look, I know there's some negative side effects. Like, for instance, you said like when you watch a commercial, it's like, oh, everybody's happy and smiling, but fucking it tells them that they might shit themselves to death.
Dysentery.
Like, do you think any of those people that are taking that drug that's being advertised online that says, hey, you might shit yourself into fucking oblivion, are doing anything additional other than taking it? No, not until they go back to their doctor and their doctor says, hey, did you notice anything different? And they're like, yeah, I poop a lot more. And they're like, oh, you'll be fine. And then the next month they fucking shit themselves to death. Well, whereas you guys are like looking at it as like, hey, look, there's a lot of fucking side effects to this. I want to make sure I'm ahead of it. I can't trust research. Like there's nothing out there that says I want to help you. Like if you go to a clinic, even if it's a men's clinic or like a PH Performance or any of these places,
still just want to sell you
They
shit.
are just trying to sell you the fucking TRT. Yeah. Like they're not necessarily looking at it as like, hey, look, while you've been on TRT, these are some things that you need to concern yourself. You need to go donate blood because your blood needs to be worked on. Or maybe they are. I'm interested to see their side of things as far as that goes. But people that are generally taking steroids, I find out, are a lot more informative on their own personal health, on their own diet, on their workout plans, and where that leads, which is interesting because we'll go back to David's point. Like, there are some fucking negative side effects to this stuff, and there are some people that take it too far.
Well, I would say that your statement in the fact of people that take steroids, I would say competitive bodybuilders tend to be more in tune with that. I think there's a shitload of gym rats that take this stuff and they have no fucking clue what they're doing.
Oh,
just to do it. Yeah. And they are way out of tune. And those are the ones that have a lot of the problems. It's not, most of the time, it's not the top Olympians and stuff. I mean, look at Arnold, look at Lou Ferrigno, look at, some of these old guys that were taking shit, forever ago. They're living long, happy, Ronnie has his problems with that. Has nothing to do with steroids. It has to do with his botched back surgeries. Yeah, it was honestly like more the back surgeries than anything, and training like an idiot, which is the goat of bodybuilding. But he didn't have the greatest form. So, fucking squatting 800 pounds. Yeah, baby, let's go lightweight. But yeah, so I think that your statement is absolutely correct. And to your point with that stuff, you have to be your own advocate. So you have to go out and make sure anytime you decide to put anything in your body, whether it's not even drugs or whatever, even if it's food, dude. If you eat cheeseburgers every day, there's a side effect of that. You're going to have high cholesterol. You're going to get fat and have obesity. You
can choose to ignore it though.
Yeah, you could choose to ignore it, and many people do.
Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. So how do people find coaches? Like, if you're in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and you found your gym enemy, and you're looking at him saying, well, I got to get my shit together, and rather than going around the corner and from some dude, like how do people find like legit people? Like how would somebody find you?
My Instagram handle is Beefcake19, so I will take all the clients that like. But actually, I cap myself at 20. That's the most I'll do. But there are a ton of good coaches. You just shop it like you do anything else. So I would look at coaches in your area if you want an in-person coach. In this area, there's a ton of like pretty knowledgeable people. I used to work with Brandon's coach, Brian Hoydick. He's a nice guy. He's a good person as far as like
ball-headed dude. Does that do? Works out at Rise?
Yeah, at Rise. Yeah,
I beat him, so that's why he quit.
Yeah, you didn't beat me. Get out of here. Yeah.
We're gonna have you guys arm wrestle here before we leave.
Oh, dude, yeah, fuck that. 2 bicep tendon repair surgeries, no thank you. But yeah, Hoydick's a good one. I know there's a coach up in the Cleveland area, Mike Eli. He takes a lot of clients, like generally decently
now your coach is actually out of state. How did you come across him?
So my coach's name's Morgan Rice. Yeah, I came across him. I had a couple friends that had used him. He coached. The thing with Morgan that I liked the most was that when I was with Hoydick, and I'm not talking crap about him at all or whatever, super nice guy, we were very good friends. He didn't have any clients that he had built and turned into big, massive pros. Okay. So I wanted to work with somebody that was a little bit more in tune with blood work. And sounds like Hoydick, when I was with him, he didn't do a lot of blood work stuff. Now it seems like he's kind of doing more, which is great. If any coach that you interview doesn't have you get your blood work done, find the next coach. So that's my biggest thing. But with Morgan, he was big into the health stuff, and he also had built some freaks. And he took a guy that was like a bus driver, like a 38-year-old
guy. You showed me
that
guy.
Fucking.
I wish I could pull him up right now.
But yeah, he's awesome. Doug. Yeah, Dougie Flex is his Instagram handle. He's super fucking cool. IPB Pro, 212 Pro, Olympian. He took him from being a fat, overweight bus driver not only turned him to a pro bodybuilder, but took him to the Olympia, the highest level competition ever. And he did that with him. And then he also did it with a girl who lived 8 miles down the road. And it was just his plan and everything. So anybody can coach these Chris Bumsteads and Nick Walkers or whatever of the world because they're genetic freaks. These people aren't. So I liked that about him. And I liked his style of training. Actually, the first time I ever met him, I called him or whatever. I emailed him and we got on the phone and I was like, hey man, I was like, I'd like to meet you. Can I drive out to Pittsburgh and talk to you? He's like, I'm full this weekend. All these things or whatever. I'm like, I'll just come by and see you. I'll just drive out, whatever. He's like, nah, you're going to train. So he puts me in this workout with this Jared kid that he trains. He's like, you go with Big Hoss today. It was me, Jared, and this other guy. And it was a leg day. And I thought I trained legs hard, bro. And I get out there and I learned real quick that this was going to be the hardest fucking workout of my life. Like I was going to die. I'm like, all I could tell myself was don't quit. Like you can't be the bitch to quit, dude. I didn't drive 2 hours out here to fucking quit and drive home with my dick between my legs, you know? So,
wait, where was your dick then?
It wasn't sucked up in me by the end of the workout. Yeah, it was like a fucking frightened turtle, bro. Yeah, that's where it was. Yeah, fucking, yeah. So, I bet it's a tail between my legs. But dick sounded cooler. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So halfway through, this other kid that was working out with us, like, so I go to the bathroom. And we went to the bathroom, never came back, and I was like, cool. I was like, at least I'm not that guy. But I was like, this is the dude. This is what I need. I need this push, and he's health oriented, and I've actually been like kind of mentoring under him for the last 2-3 years. So that's a lot of this knowledge that I've gotten, that I've shared today, is like from him directly, or like things.
So how does he look at that? Like, because obviously now you coach on the lower end, like the newbie.
Yeah,
I guess you would call it.
Kind of.
Or are you coaching beyond that?
I put a girl on the New York Pro stage. I put the same girl on Sharu, which is a pro show in India. And I put her again on stage in Indiana for a pro show. So I've coached pros, but most of my clients are like entry to mid-level bodybuilders. I always get females. I have this like reputation for, because I'm really good at managing female hormones, because females are a whole nother thing. So I have this reputation of doing real well with women. But I would like a few like good male competitors would be great.
Well, and I assume that's like a niche, right? Like
yeah,
everybody's got their niche when coaching.
Yeah, you get the women because you walk around in your fucking underwear. And
that's right. Dude, like I see the mullet and those freaking like Spider-Man underwear, dude. I need that, dude.
Now, quick question. Now, I heard from Farishka that you fed her with cheeseburger and fries right before she went on stage.
Yeah. That is true.
I was like,
she ate 2.
Yeah. I was like, holy shit! Yeah. Isn't most people like just drink water?
No.
Wait, hold on a second. So this is right before on stage.
Yeah, literally.
So
let's talk about your on stage, because you are like you like to eat.
Like the week before is total fucking science. Right, so your diet could change every single day if it fucking needed to, and
it's all based on the person. Okay? Right. So that's the thing. Like, if anybody runs the same peak protocol with everybody,
right.
they're fucking. You hit on some, you'll be off on others.
So not only is it different by competitor, but it's different by day.
Yeah, you have to look at it each day and say, "What do you
I could say that you're this X amount of person, but like tomorrow, I might have to fucking feed you differently.
I could look tighter. I could be skinnier. I mean, I could be. The water's not coming
based
out.
off of what you look like tomorrow,
and the skin.
I need to change your fucking diet like immediately.
Correct. I'll tell you a good story about that with New York.
Yeah. So like peak week, right? So it's normally fish, because fish is of course the least amount of fat on it and one of the leanest protein sources, right? And then last prep I had, I was actually in good freaking shape, so I was able to have my carbs. So there's my rice. I believe I had rice. And then of course you have asparagus. Rather than usually when you're still cutting, whatever, like 8 weeks out, you're eating your broccoli. Well, broccoli has different things that, of course, asparagus has, or asparagus more tightens your skin rather than bloats you like broccoli does, because you don't want to look
that makes sense.
Stage, right? So you eat all of that.
Broccoli's a natural diuretic, so it pulls some water out. Yeah. Or not, I'm sorry, asparagus. Broccoli is not a natural diuretic.
No, that's why you fart when you got broccoli.
Yeah, broccoli will make you bloated. Asparagus will make you tight. Yeah.
And also, I do a lot of macadamia nut oil as well on it, because that's more fattier. So then you look fuller as well on stage while you're also losing the weight.
The fats, what they do is they regulate, like we're talking about the insulin production, they'll regulate your body's digestion of the whatever carbs you just ate, so that way it all can be absorbed and you're not like storing any of it or anything like that.
Correct.
So, yeah.
And then also during that whole week too, it's called water loading. what do you call it? Water?
Oh, yeah, some people like to water.
water.
I actually am not a huge fan of it. I've done it, but I don't like to do it super often. But it's person to person. But yeah,
I've done every single prep. So basically, what that necessarily means is, because you want to look your absolute best on stage,
Right.
Right. So like Monday, probably drink 2 gallons of water that day, right? And probably same the next day, and then Wednesday go down to 1 gallon. Thursday, half a gallon. Then, or if anything, right? Then Friday, day of show, no water at all because you want to look the driest as fuck you can.
Okay.
Right? I've once gone 3 fucking days without water.
Yeah.
Absolutely. A little bit of Diet Coke when I was eating my burger and fries.
like an ounce or two with a meal or something.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And
Wait,
then
so hold on. You're eating a burger and fries.
after I weigh in, I go and get a burger and motherfucking fries. The reason why is because all that fucking grease and shit, because you already weighed in, you want to get filled out because you're just skinnier.
It's a huge
right?
sodium bomb too.
It's a big sodium, so then you look fuller. You're although
No wonder fucking everybody needs a coach when they do this shit.
Right.
Yeah,
Like, this
dude.
is
I would have never
fucking-
fucking thought of that. And
Yeah,
the
I would
milk-
think that like a burger and fries before show would make me feel like bloated and,
And
fucking
then-
blah.
And then day of show, you wake up at. I mean, I used to wake up at 4 o'clock and 5 o'clock in the morning, eat 2 pancakes with all the syrup on it for all the sugars. So then all the blood starts flowing. And same at 5.
From McDonald's, that's what Hoyt always
McDonald's.
uses.
Yeah, I mean, I fucking love McDonald's pancakes.
Yeah.
And
I'm
then-
loving it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then before you even get on stage, you drink. I always did a small red wine, a dry wine, because of course alcohol in your system makes
Thins your blood.
thins your blood. So then you're just up there pumped with a good buzz.
Yeah.
That is fucking insane,
So
dude.
Wild.
yeah.
So you had a crazy story talking about like
Yeah.
a burger and fries before show.
Yeah, that's like the standard Hoyt protocol. Like
Yeah,
that's
I
like
usually
he'll adjust it, but that's usually what he does for a lot of
Right.
his
Normally I
athletes.
usually do before show about 2 burgers before show.
Did you do the vodka the night before too?
Oh yeah, and like about four shots of
That's
vodka.
a good one for people. Yeah, the night before, yeah, it can dry you out.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm not a
Every-
big fan of the alcohol because the toxicity levels of it can affect your peak a little bit sometimes. Some people it doesn't affect it. Some people does. With Brandon, he always looked really good, so I'm sure it was fine. But yeah, so Varishka Andrade, she's an IPB pro bikini girl. Also like one of my very best friends. She went to Pittsburgh Pro for a pro debut, and she looked kind of like shit, for lack of a better way to put it. So she had a coach at the time, and she was like, "Oh, man, I'm going to work with this other coach, but I need somebody in the interim." She's like, "Would you prep me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this would be a good opportunity, you know." So the night after her show,
This is your friend.
Yeah,
Right? The
yeah,
one that-
much of our
that-
friends.
no,
Yeah.
Most of our friends.
he takes photos of her all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of them in the shoots, but sometimes when she's not looking. You know.
Public toilet.
He's got a ladder outside her window. It's really good. He calls them the candid shots. Yeah.
What protective for?
No, I'm just fucking. Yeah, no. But so night after the show, we were sitting at dinner. She had a burger, and she's got like 2 weeks till this next show, whatever. And we're just talking. I'm like, yeah, I'll prep you, no problem. So she eats this burger. We train the next day at Dean Caputo's Powerhouse Gym back in Ohio here, and she looked really good. I'm like, man, you responded really well from that burger. And she's like, yeah. I was like, it really sucked all that water into you and filled you out. I said, okay, I'm gonna remember that. So then I put her on a diet. She needed to get a little bit tighter. She's real watery, so I put her on a diet of like 2 lean beef meals and some chicken meals. I think we used some fish too. I'd have to go back and look. And then asparagus and
Some blueberries probably too.
no carbs.
I've
actually,
heard
for sure.
I've heard you mention blueberries like 3 times.
Yeah,
Like,
he loves the blueberries.
Obviously, the blueberries.
It's
got
way
some-
better than dingleberries, dude.
Yeah. So, so I put her on this like basically asparagus, sauerkraut, and meat diet for the next
Sauerkraut?
week. Yeah, the sauerkraut's really good for digestion.
was gonna
So
say, okay.
yeah, so it helps her shit, which is super important too during prep because
Yeah.
a lot of
You
times
don't
you're drier.
wanna
Dude.
Yeah, you can get backed up. So
Oh, I went like 3 fucking weeks.
without shitting,
Oh, dude.
do I go to the hospital if I did that? I would tell you.
I put a fucking suppository up.
Yeah,
there.
that's what you have to do.
Oh,
Yeah, so that's another thing when you're in peak week. You have to make sure that digestion is good so they can shit, and especially if you're cutting water, that's a huge that's one of the reasons why I don't like to cut water too much is because sometimes you have a hard time being able to shit. So anyways, so she's gonna love me talking about all her shit all the time.
Don't worry, I'll stand
Yeah, she
for
was
a little
shitting
bit.
every single day. It was great. Yeah. So, but anyway,
No,
so
hold on. To pause you for a second.
go ahead,
It's,
yeah.
it's great to hear 2 perspectives, right?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about your side, and you're like, "Fuck, I've been there where I've gone 3 weeks without fucking shitting."
yeah.
And like you're saying, no, that's because
That's a problem,
something hasn't been added. And you're right. Like when you talk about like even like survival instincts and things like that. When people are like out trying to like do different survival things, like if you don't shift for after X amount of time, like you start to get fucking infections
Yeah,
and stuff inside of your
I had a
body.
girl one time. She didn't tell me for like 2 weeks that she didn't take a shit. She's sending me these check-ins. Her stomach's bloated, and I'm like, "What the fuck's wrong?" And she's like, "I don't know." I was like, "When's the last time you went to the bathroom?" She's like, 2 weeks ago. I said, "Go to the fucking ER, dude."
Yeah.
And she was just eating normal diet type of thing, but she had other massive amounts of digestion issues.
But either way, it's interesting to hear you say, because Brandon's sitting there saying, like,
Yeah.
yeah, there's been a point in time where I went fucking.
Oh yeah, about like about 2.5, 3. I'm like,
Yeah,
all right,
and you're like,
pop
"Dang."
one up.
Yeah.
Usually happens every prep.
Yeah,
And so when you don't shift
probably
it
from the
after,
lack of
you're
water.
you're gonna have to
Yeah.
fucking pop something up your asshole to fucking
yeah.
get yourself to shit.
yeah. So
That sounds awful.
Yeah, so yeah.
Hey, just for everybody who thinks that bodybuilding
No homo.
is just
No
fucking
homo.
looking awesome on stage.
The shit you have to do to
like,
to look good
literally.
for like half a day. Dude.
Yeah, for literally for a fucking 30 minutes on
Yeah,
stage,
for
really.
sure,
Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's
If
where
that-
this all comes
if
down
that.
to.
Yeah. So for her peak process,
Fuck.
so we got her. I kind of reconditioned her body, got her in peak week shape or whatever, and we were doing like small amounts of carbs added back in and stuff. And then for her, I tend to do an approach for most people where it's different for every person, but for most people, I try to land the plane. So there's a coach, a super famous coach. His name's John Meadows. He has a really good video out about like peak week, and he talks about you want the variables to be consistent. So like a week out, you want to look really good, and you just want to tighten things up a little bit and just ease in the plane. So when you're loading water and cutting water and fucking with your sodium levels and all this other kind of stuff, it can be volatile. You're messing with a lot of factors at once. So I try to get them in shape like a week before. So we taper off all the carbs. I do the carb depletion because it expands. If you deplete your carbs for 3 days, it will expand your glycogen levels by I think it's like 20 or 30%. So what that means is that stored energy, the carbs that you eat, you'll be able to put more carbs into the muscle, which will make them fill them out more and look bigger. So Hoydick does that too, because he cuts your carbs for a while and then he'll reintroduce it, which is there's good signs behind that.
eating Rice Krispie treats behind the thing.
Correct. Yeah, Dan. What did
Backstage.
Dan eat? Like the one show, didn't he eat like 40 or something like that?
He's a fat fuck.
Yeah, he's a fat fuck. He did eat like 40. Yeah, wait, Dan, stop eating the fucking Rice Krispies. Yeah, so anyways, so for her, we're leaning in, and I'm giving her like these meals, and I was carb loading her at night, and then seeing how she looked in the morning. And for me, I like to like have your morning look be your stage look and just preserve it. So, okay, we're not going to eat a lot show day. We just want to keep that look. It's the most stable. It's the most easiest way to keep the look. So about Wednesday, she's got to compete Friday. She competes Saturday. Wednesday, I said, let's try a burger and a fry. I said, I think you can use the sodium bomb, and we'll just see how it goes. And then if it's bad,
This is like middle of the day.
yeah, this is a last meal of the day. So it's her last meal on Friday or on Wednesday, and she competes Saturday. I was like, let's try this. So see how you look. If it looks bad or it fucks you up, I'll have time to fix it.
Yeah.
So she eats it. The next morning, wakes up money. I mean, this chick she looked amazing, right? And so I'm like, cool, this is good. And I put her right back on the same thing where it was like low carb throughout the day, and I was giving her more carbs in the evening. And so I did that again, and then I'm like, yeah, I think we can do one more burger. I'm like, okay, cool. So we do a second burger.
Like the next night?
The next night, yeah.
Wait, like second burger,
Like
as far as the night
as
back
a one
to back?
burger, yeah.
Or
No,
like two full burgers?
So just one burger. So one
Okay.
burger Wednesday, one burger Thursday.
Okay.
Or I'm sorry, yeah. Was it Thursday or whatever? Yeah, Thursday it was, I think. And so we did the burger there, and then she looked good. And then I fed her just a little bit the night before the show. I want to preserve that look. And she was off a little bit in the morning, right? And I'm like, oh man, dude. Like she's like, how do I look? I'm like, you look great, because I don't want her cortisol to spike.
Yeah.
A lot of it was we were up really early, so I immediately called my coach, and because Morgan like kind of mentors me. I'm like, what should I do? What do you think? Like, this is what she looks like. She looked great yesterday. She looks fucked up today. And that's something too. Like, I like that I have a network of people that I can go to if I have a problem.
For sure.
It's
It's great that
helping-
you guys all communicate like without like feeling bitter.
No,
like,
dude,
oh, that's you're my guy, and fucking now you're coaching people on yourself.
No, and I've had
Yeah,
stuff where I've
that's great.
asked him and he doesn't know, so he asks his network of people, and then
Yeah.
we get it back. So he's got much better network than I do. So it's kind of cool. You get like if I'm your coach, you get all that, which is cool. Not that it's a sales pitch, but so I look at. He says, listen. He says, give her the asparagus and some lean ground beef, and then put her back to bed. I said, okay, so that's what she ate. She ate asparagus, lean ground beef, went back to bed. Made her sleep for like 2 hours. She was getting her hair and makeup done. She come back up. I was like, go back to bed for a couple hours. She goes back to bed, and I put some new salt on it too, which is a potassium supplement. And it's actually like it's like sodium, but it's potassium. And so it pulled a lot of that water out. She came back up, looked money, went on stage. Tyler and Attila are like the two head judges for bikini. Tyler Mannion's the head of the IPB, and Attila, his wife, is like the bikini biggest judge in the world. And she ended up getting top 10 there, which is a great feat for her. She looked like shit though 2 weeks before. This time she come in, looked top 10, really improved. And then their feedback for us was that her conditioning was perfect. And I was like, cool. Like, this is the first time I ever put a pro on stage. Second time I ever put anybody on stage. And I nailed it with the two biggest people.
She was already a pro at that point?
She was already a pro, yeah.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so so she's competing against girls that are the best in the world. So to finish in the top 10 was amazing. And this is like her first year as a pro. Her biggest problem was that she wasn't big enough. And there's nothing that we can do in a week.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah. Brandon's not big enough either. So that's why he's a middleweight.
But you're right, yeah, like in a week.
We're talking about bodybuilding.
So like in a week, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah,
like you're not going to put on 10 pounds of bulk in a week. But in the meantime, you can make that fucking muscle you do have look bulkier.
Correct. You can fill it out. And we actually, so then her story is super interesting because then we went to Sharu, which she was dead set on doing the show in India. And I didn't know anything about doing an overseas show. I wasn't going to be able to go. So I'm doing everything via FaceTime and stuff. And the quality of the video was shitty. So I'm having to ask her, like, how do you feel? Whatever. There's a bunch of other factors that went into it. She didn't look her best. We still placed top 10, which was amazing, but we did not look our best at all. Very off. So then I was like, okay, well, let me note these things that happened, and then we'll go back. And she had another show in Indiana, which we fixed. We finished in the top 10 there as well, but looked fuller. I actually brought her in a little bit fuller. I sacrificed a little bit of the conditioning to try to cheat a little bit the size, and her feedback there was funny. She placed better than she did at New York, but they told us, like, you need to be a little bit tighter. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, well, if I was tighter, then you would have placed us lower because we would have been smaller.
Yeah.
So we both kind of agreed that Indiana was the best look for that season for her because we cheated a little bit of fullness. I made her look bigger than she actually was, but we did have to sacrifice a tad of conditioning to do that. So
now is she not working with you anymore? She has her own coach that she was planning on going to originally, right?
She works with James Ariata, I think his name is Atlas Coaching. He's like the top bikini coach in the country. So he coached Laura Lee, who just won Miss Olympia. She does her own thing now too with somebody else, but he's got like 10 of the top probably 30.
So has he reached out to you?
I haven't talked to him at all. I still do her, like, a lot of her workout stuff. Like we train together quite a bit, and so I kind of give her that intensity because with his package, it's super expensive, dude. It was like, I can't remember what she said, but I think it was like $3,000 or something for like 6 months. Do you remember what it was, Evan?
And I know she doesn't want to tell me. But I think she was like very hesitant because she's all the stuff that she's been spending money on lately. It's just been insane.
Yeah, the price for him is ridiculous.
So let's talk about that. Like, what does that high dollar coach get her? Like, is it just?
It's a reputation thing.
Well, obviously it's reputation, but he's obviously pretty good at what he does because he wouldn't be getting somebody to pay him thousands of dollars. But is he like sitting in fucking California?
Yeah, I think he's in Canada. Yeah, he's in Canada, which isn't a bad thing. A lot of coaches
it's not
are
a bad thing. Like, but he's not local. Like, that's the one thing about all these coaches. Like, virtual coaching, how easy is that comparative to, like, because you just talked about, like, when she was in India performing, like, you couldn't really see how well she looked.
The thing I think that she was off in India, she was sick. Remember?
She was sick. She got food poisoning.
Yeah, I told her, the food, I told her not to eat any of the local
I think
food.
she ate that after, though. She got sick after. But the one thing that she was off in India from was the stress. So in India, normally in the U.S., like, all the tanning hair and makeup is all in the same spot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Over there, it was in 4 different locations. Mm-hmm. So she had to sit in a car for like 2 hours on show day, which all the blood then goes to your posterior, and then the women are judged by their posterior, so she's looking super watery from the back, tight as shit from the front because it's that all went that way. So I didn't know that. I didn't know how to combat that.
Yeah.
Some of that's on me because like being a newer coach, like I should like it's my responsibility to know that stuff, but I just didn't have the experience at that point.
Yeah, but the other point too is like you can't see it in person.
Sure, and I
Like,
couldn't
you're
see it in
not-
person.
You know,
Yeah,
you're not there. Like you should have been in India. Why were you not?
Yeah,
in
well,
India,
I didn't have the money to fly there, and I didn't think she had the money to fly me there either. So, so we just did the best we could. I mean, and then the other thing too was for me, it was tough because the time change. Dude, I was getting up at like 2 in the morning to do FaceTimes with her to like check in on her. You know what I mean? Which I think that's a little bit different than you get from like coaches like maybe me and some of the other like newer coaches that don't take a lot of clients versus like your full-time coaches is like. I'm very personal. Like you can call me, you can text me, I have a lot of my clients that are out of town. They send me videos of them training and I will critique them. They can, full access all the time for the most part.
I think that's like training in any sense, right? Like whenever you're working with anybody, like, you guys both shared a trainer, you and Brandon shared a trainer together. And obviously you probably both had different experiences based off of like, where you were, what you were doing at that exact moment, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
Versus somebody that just joined on or whatever the case, like, because those trainers are trying to find the best use of their time as well, not only for the benefit of their clients, but also for the longevity of their coaching career.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if this guy has a bigger potential of going pro, frankly, it would be
They'll
a
get a
waste
little bit more
of
time.
It would be silly for me not to spend additional time with that person, knowing that I'm going to be tied to that.
Yeah, they definitely get a little bit more time.
Sure.
Your genetic anomaly people,
And
your
the same thing
potential.
goes for like if I'm a coach that's based out of California and I have 3 clients that are in California and then the other 30 are based all over the United States. Like my guys that are in California, like I need to show off to other people to get new clients. So who am I going to be working out with? Who am I going to be spending time with? Who am I going to be done? So there's probably some other aspects.
One thing that a lot of the big high level coaches do are like Milos, which is like a super high level bodybuilding coach. You only can talk to him on his emails. So you have one email a week. You put everything you need in there. If you want to talk to him during the week, he charges you $500 for a phone call, and you get a 30-minute phone call, whatever, for like $300 or $500 or whatever. I think it might be $500 an hour or $300 for a half, whatever. And so like they will not talk to you unless you have except for the check-ins, which I think that sucks in my opinion. But they're really good, and obviously, like a lot of times, what they do is they'll give discounts to their high-level coaches or clients, so that way they'll maybe give them a little more attention, like what you're saying. I'm sure he's got some pretty good clients. I'm sure that his top Olympians don't have to pay $500 to call him.
Well, no, because it's beneficial to him if his top Olympians.
Correct. Yeah, he's got an investment in them. Yeah.
Right.
So that's as far as like when you're looking for a coach, you need to find someone at your level. So if you're an entry level bodybuilder, you should start with an entry level bodybuilding coach or somebody like that. I wouldn't recommend going to a Milos or Hani Rama just retired or whatever, and he wasn't really taking a lot of clients, but maybe Boss Outlaw or any of these other like really super high level coaches, because you're kind of a number to them. But get like the most attentive coach at your level, I think is good.
David, what else you got, boss?
Well, we want to give a shout out to the folks at Towpath for this bottle of bourbon, local here in Ohio.
Where's it made at?
It's actually made in Akron.
In Akron?
Yeah. So Rocco Piscazzi, he stowed away on a boat and got here in 1917, and then of course Prohibition hit, but they were bootleggers all up and down the towpath. And then after, Prohibition was lifted, then they started setting up stills. So, yeah, they actually bourbon, and they have a pretty good vodka and rum, and we want you guys to sponsor us.
Yeah,
Send us
absolutely.
more.
Fucking awesome. And if it wasn't so far away, I would have definitely drank more of that. But
I'll slide. We need to set up like a conveyor or something. We can slide that up and down the table.
for sure.
That's dope.
What else you got for the rest of this? Anything else you want to ask about before we venture off?
Interesting stuff. I love it. I guess one last thing on my mind is, does anybody ever bring up Lyle Alzado?
Oh man, what a great football player.
I was about to say, who the fuck is that?
Yeah, Brandon wasn't even born. Actually, I'm pretty sure I was like I don't. When did he? When he play? The 80s, right? 80s, early 90s,
70s, 80s,
70s, 80s. Yeah.
Fuck.
I don't know the specifics.
Brian's like, I wasn't even born yet, bro. It's not
Yeah,
fair.
he was
was
like
not.
the football player on steroids, right? Like before it was a thing. He was like the first mass monster before Dorian, I guess, probably.
Well,
that
hold on.
didn't
So, fuck, who was the fucking
was huge.
left tackle that played for fucking Green Bay that got drafted? He was a fucking badass, but then fucking steroids fucking cut his fucking.
Brock Lesnar.
No, but fuck, he was like literally the first or top 3 pick in the NFL draft, and then like never
Really?
fucking played because steroids fucked
Really?
him up. And
I don't
shit
even
like
remember that. Was that recent or when was that?
This is like late 90s, I want to say.
Okay.
But,
Oh,
which
cool.
is funny
Still
because
before my time.
Yeah, still before your time. Well, which is funny because when I first moved to Ohio, I went to Cloverleaf High School, and let's see, this was
Hughes chick?
96. I was a freshman. No, not Hughes chick.
Oh.
But Jason Foster.
Oh.
Back-to-back 2,000-yard rusher in high school.
Yeah.
And went to Michigan and fucking shin splints supposedly
Yeah.
fucking fucked and derailed his career, but really it was the fact that, you know, they talk about steroids were an issue and that shit, which is kind of funny because I look at it now and I'm like, well, steroids fucking increase bone density, so
Yeah.
that doesn't sound right.
Were you thinking of Tony Mandarich?
Yes, Tony Mandarich or whatever they call his name. Yeah.
Canadian.
Kidding.
Yeah, played at Michigan, I think, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that. Or something.
That's the tackle, I think,
Yeah.
for Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Michigan State,
Yeah, that's it.
and then to the Packers.
Yeah, and then he never did anything.
So yeah, the
But
short.
either way, it's back to the fucking
do you-
fact that
yeah,
steroids
do we
ruin
know
their fucking career.
the
right?
short version with Lyle Alzado was he originally drafted to the Broncos, then he came to the Browns. There's a great like NFL documentary on him. I was gonna pull the audio because when he came to the Browns, he's like, "Oh, we'll find a championship." Like,
Yeah. Fucker.
Yeah, right.
We're
But-
still trying to find it, bro.
still
Yeah.
trying to find it. But so the Browns released him, and that's where he kind of found a new lease on life. So he got punished by, they sent him to the Oakland Raiders, and then of course the next year they went to LA, and then the next year after that they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. What do we remember? Because he died early from steroid abuse, but do you know why? By chance, or what?
Brain cancer.
Was it? Brain cancer?
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm scared about if I go on TRT.
So-
is because it doesn't, it's like a growth hormone to cancer.
No, growth. I'm glad you brought that up because I was about to say the same thing. So he was probably taking growth hormone.
was, yeah.
And there was a lot of. So I'm friends with Dean Caputo, who was like, if you don't know who Dean Caputo is, he was on every GNC there was from like 1985 to like 1995. Like he was big cardboard cutouts. He was like the GNC guy.
Yeah, I remember
He's
that name.
Probably one of the best bodybuilders that never turned pro. He beat Ronnie Coleman in a bodybuilding show. He lost to guys like Flex Wheeler and Kevin Levrone and just legends, right? So, and he quit early too. That was the other thing. But great bodybuilder. But you know, I've talked to him about what bodybuilding was like back then, which is more like for Lyle. They didn't ever come off. They just they consistently ran all the time.
Yep.
You know, there was no cycle off. And then growth hormone was a thing. The thing about growth hormone, we haven't talked about growth hormone at all, which is like, I love growth hormone. I think it's like one of the best bodybuilding drugs you can possibly take. They're very, especially at a low dose. It's anti-aging. It's good for your hair, nails, and skin. There's
Buy it
no
over the counter in Mexico.
yeah,
Like, you go
Brazil,
walk into a
Mexico,
fucking
yeah.
pharmacy and be like, I'll take some HGH, and they're like, here you go, $25. You get like a fucking 3-month supply.
Unlike testosterone, if you take synthetic version of it, it does not suppress your natural levels. So you always have your natural levels, and then whatever extra you take. So you can take low doses of it and have really good side effects. You can take high doses of it and have the big side effect that you can get is insulin sensitivity. But growth hormone makes everything grow. So if you have cancer, it will make your cancer grow faster. So my guess with Lyle, and I don't know this, I'm not a doctor or whatever, but with my knowledge with it, if he died from brain cancer, he probably had brain cancer. It's probably spread really, really fast because he was taking large amounts of growth hormone. So if you're prone to cancer, you have a lot of cancer in your family history, I would stay away from growth hormone. or if you had it in your past or whatever,
or you should be tested on
or
it.
test it. Yeah, get
Monthly,
tested
weekly,
regularly.
quarterly,
Yes,
whatever.
That's exactly.
Because
What it is.
So that's a great point because you mentioned like, oh, he might not have known. Like, I mean, let's think about this. He's a football player back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of testing was out there for the regular person
They
back in
didn't
the
know.
80s and 90s?
Yeah.
So if you're taking a bunch of HGH and that helps everything grow as you say it does, like, yeah, if you don't know you have
I
something.
wish.
They were like kings of the bro science back then, dude. It's funny because when I took Verishka,
Well, because most of those guys back then, though, were probably getting, like, there was no YouTube, there's no Instagram, there was no fucking TikTok, there was nothing to get information off. So where did you get information off? You got information from, like,
The guy.
You were hanging out with your dude
He's big,
at
he
the
knows.
fucking gym, and he's like, oh, HGH is the fucking shit. You should take it. And you're like, sweet, what are the side effects? He's like, I don't know. I don't have any. I'm good.
I'll take 2.
Right.
How much you got? Yeah.
But that's the that was the science back then. Because if you went to your doctor and said I want to do HGH, they're like, oh,
back then they would just give it to you. A lot of them,
probably,
they would give you all.
or they had no side effects, or
Yeah.
they didn't share the other aspects. And God forbid, should they find out you have cancer fucking before you were fucking terminal?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, yeah. Well, the thing about it is too is like back in those days, like we're so much more advanced now, so we have all this extra data. So that's why this stuff is important because we know. Like even like when I took on Verishka as a client, Dean is really close with Verishka too, and he's like, "All right, no more fucking around. This is what you're gonna do. This is how Dorian prepped me, so this is how you're gonna do it." Because he was prepped by Dorian Yates, which is all time great. He's like, he told me this whole protocol, and he's like, "You're gonna eat a pack of tuna fish at 5 o'clock on Friday, and then half a pack in the morning." And I'm like, yeah, we're probably not going to do that, but that's cool that it worked for you back in the day because it was all like bro science. Like it was like, okay, you do this, and we can't really tell you why, but this works. You know. Now we have a mix of actual science with a tad of bro science. There's some stuff that like you can argue back and forth on this or that, and there's no real data that will conclude one way or another.
well, it goes back to everything's different for everybody.
Sure.
And the one thing is now we have the ability to find that information.
Right.
So if I search what are the side effects for testosterone, now I can find 30 different people that share 30 different side effects.
Sure.
Now,
Or 30 different responses.
The internet is an amazing thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I can then
Wasn't in
reach
the
out to my
encyclopedias.
doctor and fucking God knows now my doctor just had me text a message to him and then the fucking respond to me rather than me show up. And I can get a little bit more feedback.
Yeah.
And like there's more and more and more data that's becoming available to us, right? And then there's more people like yourself and even Brandon. Like it's funny because like you guys are both Brandon, you said you're 8-9 years experience, and even you still go, hey Nick, you can answer this better.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no like egos in it. Like there's an ego in like I'm bigger, I'm faster, I'm stronger, but there's not an ego in it that says like, hey, you know what, Nick could maybe answer this better so that I don't give somebody wrong information.
Sure. And
And I think that is a difference when it comes to bodybuilding as it does to like when you talk about Ozempic or you talk about these fucking other drugs that are out there in the market. It's like bodybuilders aren't there to like you're never gonna meet a bodybuilder who's like, yeah, just take fucking 2,000 fucking cc's of fucking testosterone. You're gonna be a fucking biggest baddest motherfucker on the planet.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna talk about all the things you guys talked about. Well, it depends on this. It depends on this. Are you gonna diet correctly? Are you gonna drink water correctly? Are you gonna do this? Are you gonna train correctly? This is where I would start you off. You should check this. You should watch your blood levels. Like there's so much more into it. And like I feel like when you get into like when you call bro science, like and then it's kind of the idea of the Guys Night podcast is like guys are willing to look out for other guys. Like, hey, look, there's more to it. You can do this, but you should look into this.
Yeah.
And then, hey, look, here's a guy that maybe I trained or that I worked with that he can help you out if you need somebody more in depth. And then he can always reach out to me if you need more things answered later down the road. I think that's kind of where, as I listen to you guys talk, I see that there's more to it than just some one guy, a doctor or whatever the case that's out there that's spitting one thing when there's a lot more information that could be shared.
Well, and the difference between back then and now is we have the internet, and there is a lot of good information on the internet. There's information available to us now, so you have no excuse not to die from brain cancer from growth hormone. Whereas back then, you had no way to learn. You were trusting a friend that you knew, maybe didn't, whatever. So, and then there's two types of people too. There's people like me that are like, man, I have to know everything of why and what I'm doing. And there's also the clients that are like, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. And
Sure.
I just want to do it health. I trust you. I know the way you care about your clients, and we work with a doctor. So whatever you and my doctor tell me to do, we're going to do that, and that's how it goes. So it's fine to do that as long as if you don't want to do the research, hire a coach that knows what they're doing.
Well, and there's a lot of other companies too. Like you talk about companies like PH Performance. There's a new one that just joined in Akron, and there's all these other side companies that are outside of your healthcare facility.
Sure.
And then when you talk about guys like you or guys like Brandon that are out there, like say, hey, look, this is a coach that could work for you. This is a coach that could help you, et cetera, et cetera. There's just a lot more people willing to share information, which is beneficial to everybody.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's the biggest thing. Is just educate yourself or get somebody that's educated. And yeah, a lot of us are out here. I can't tell you how many people I've talked out of taking stuff. I'm
sure.
Like, are you willing to make this sacrifice? I know you're partying on the weekends every weekend. You're willing to not do that in your 20s? Okay,
Yeah, that's a strong point too, right? Because like you are giving some things up. Like you said, you guys are both sitting here tonight drinking water. You're not drinking fucking bourbon because
I'd love to.
It's like, yeah, it's I can't right now.
Yeah, it's not a good idea for me.
So do you have a down season, Nick?
Yeah, I go through like these clean out phases. My actually, we were talking about cycles a little bit. Mine are structured a little bit differently. I usually go like 16 weeks on and then like a 4 to 6 week off period. My cycles I never come completely off. I go like the highest I have ever gotten is like 900, but I tend to respond pretty good around 750 tests a week. And my current cycle right now is 750 test. I take about 400 DHB, which is it's like the NPP of equipoise, and I take a little bit of equipoise with it, and then I take what am I missing? A little bit, 50 milligrams of Superdrol.
Superdrol. Wait, whoa.
Yeah,
Superdrol's still out there?
Yeah, it's a real thing. I do injectable though. So
hold on a second. Superdrol is the shit.
It is the shit. Yeah,
and
it's so if you take oral Superdrol, it's like one of the most like toxic, horrible things you can.
Yeah,
take.
but in 30 days, like the fucking gains are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's great, but injectable Superdrol is significantly different. You don't get the same.
Where
pop
do you get Superdrol anymore? Like I thought that was like because Superdrol used to be over
the thing. Yeah.
Superdrol used to be over the counter, correct?
No, you might be thinking of like.
No, I'm definitely thinking Superdrol. Like I feel like I still have the 30 pill pack.
Yeah, it might have been. I don't know. Maybe they were selling it.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. This is like 2006.
They might have sold it as like as a thing before the FDA banned it. I'm sure.
So at that point,
happened a lot.
My a guy that I knew, his brother owned a supplement company, and they sold it in the supplement stores, like GNC.
Bro,
like it wasn't GNC. He owned his own, but
Yeah.
like. You could just go in there and get a fucking 30-day supply of Superdrol.
Dude,
and fucking the gains were insane.
They're not. Yeah, we took something like that too. I think it was like Anadrol or something like that, but it was branded as a pro hormone, and it was called Omnivore was the name of the brand, and it was probably around the same time. And I think 17HD was another one that was like the same thing, and. Like as high school kids, we'd go buy this shit and take it. And then my one buddy, dude, he got fucking bad gyno from it. Like had to get surgery because of it.
Really?
Yeah, dude. And like it was crazy. We just bought it at GNC. We're like, oh, it's a pro hormone, and we'd get super strong and fuck shit up, playing football and wrestling and shit.
Yeah, I mean, 30 days. Like I went from 0 to 0, bro. I remember that fucking shit.
Yeah, fucking Hercules. Yeah. And then they took it away. I felt like when Hades took Hercules' powers, man. It was all fucked up.
So you're saying it's still out there? You say get it on Amazon? Are you being sarcastic? I can't even tell.
Yeah.
Fucking all right. So can you still get Superdrol?
You can get it from your local steroid dealer, probably, but not from not from. You're not going to Walmart. But you know what's fascinating? You can actually buy. One of the things that bodybuilders take a lot is insulin. You could go to Walmart and buy Humulin R insulin.
It's a knockoff of Human Log.
Yeah, well, yeah, Humulin R. Humulin R is it's a time release one where it has an instant release and then I think like 2 hours later it has another release to it. You could literally just walk into Walmart and buy this insulin. Yeah,
there's different versions of different insulins because they're all patent.
Yep.
So Walmart decided to make their own insulin, and since Walmart makes their own insulin, it's not made by Eli Lilly. They can patent it. They're away now,
and you don't need a prescription.
Yeah, exactly. But every doctor I've ever talked to says only go to non-prescription insulin when you absolutely have to because it has different effects.
Yeah, gotcha. I use when I'm taking insulin. So only time I take insulin is when my food is super high. and I'm force feeding because you need a way to push those carbs into the muscle. So I'll use Lantus, which is a slow release
one.
Yep, and that's really good for like throughout the day. And then right before the big meals that I eat, I will have a little bit of Humalog, which is the fast stuff. That's the stuff you got to be careful with because you'll like die. Yeah, if you do that, if you do insulin wrong, you will fucking die.
All right. Hey, all right. We're back. Let's finish this up.
Well, real quick, before you finish up, you can't have a PED supplement discussion without talking about the boogeyman.
Oh,
Trenbolone.
Yeah,
right.
yep,
That's
yep.
what everybody wants to talk about, right?
Tren.
Yeah,
Wait,
so-
hold on. Wait, Tren in
Tren.
general?
Okay.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so let me hear about Tren.
Let me
I
say
just
something
like-
really quick. Let me just say about
Okay,
Tren.
go ahead.
Okay, so.
Have you ever taken Tren?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that
It's
shit.
not that scary.
So, of course, my cat's name is Primo because of it, right?
So his dog's name's Trent.
Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I thought you had a dog. You have a cat.
I have a
named-
cat, yeah.
He's a cat guy.
Welcome to
He's
virginity.
perfect.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me right now? I'll stop now. Shit, sorry.
This is only funny for the people that have been drinking bourbon.
So,
Cat named Primo. Brandon's a virgin. We got it.
So I have a fucking note in my phone. My first kid, his name's gonna be Trent for Tren, right? So, so that's my Trent story.
Oh,
It's like my-
That's it?
Yeah.
That's it? You don't have
Fucking
any-
great
you don't have any-
I'm gonna name my kid Trent because of Tren. So
All right. So what have you've taken Tren?
yeah.
How long?
Just for prep. So it's only like 6 weeks. Yeah,
All right,
it's
so-
normally 6 weeks.
Side effects, results, like what was your experience with? Because if I'm not mistaken, Tren's like the hardest fucking hardcore steroids,
Like in
right?
your kidneys
That's
and
the gr-
liver.
yeah. So what was your? How many times have you done it? What was
Just
your
once.
experience?
Last
So
time was- last
just
time was
one
my first
6 week
time.
period.
I
What
believe
was your
it was 6 or 8
experience?
weeks. I also had that on top of follistatin.
Yeah.
I had that as well.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, follistatin's like a myostatin inhibitor. It's often faked, so you have to make sure you get like real shit. It's super fucking expensive. I'd taken it before. I didn't really get a lot from it, to be honest with you.
Oh, I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
I did
So,
an off season on 2 season.
Really?
So does that mean like maybe
expensive as
maybe
fuck,
the
though.
guy you got it from wasn't as good and
Well,
it wasn't as legit?
No, I got it from the same person you got it from. I'm pretty sure. So, but what I'll say about follistatin is, so have you ever seen those myostatin cows? You ever seen those big muscle cows?
Yeah.
So the reason why they get like that is because we all have this hormone in our body called myostatin that prevents us from growing. So once you get to a certain point, then you stop growing, right? It keeps us like so we don't fucking get like that and die early. Follistatin is supposed to reduce your myostatin, which actually the thing that we have the most data on that will reduce myostatin is actually creatine. So you can take creatine and it will reduce your myostatin levels slightly. So along with some of the other benefits that it has as well. So, but yeah, back to Tren.
All right. So your first experience with Tren, you said you've only done it once.
Yeah.
How long did you
I've
do
heard
it? You said
multiple
6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I think I did 6, 8 weeks. I've heard multiple different people doing different things on with Tren. Visual didn't have any. I think the main thing was visualize was Nips got a little puffy, but I mean, granted, that's why I used Caber and Novadex and stuff like that to get rid of the estrogen in the nips.
All right. So you
Caber's
didn't
an
see like
antiprolactin.
Yeah.
so like physically you didn't look at yourself in the mirror and be like I'm fucking bigger, I'm stronger, I'm faster. Like you didn't see.
Oh,
it.
cut more.
Oh,
yeah.
cut more. So you did see some
100%.
results
Yeah,
from
yeah. No
Okay.
side effect wise.
Gotcha.
But yeah, definitely.
Did you get sweats from it or no?
No, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, a lot of people do.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. A lot of people I've heard they got to wake up 2-3 times at
Sheets
night and
are
just
soaked.
change their shirts. I've heard that before.
Yeah.
Me no. So I mean, but granted, every cycle could be different.
Anger,
Well,
aggression.
and
or
you
no?
only did it once too, right? So I mean,
So next time
fucking.
it's actually-
You probably
knows?
take a low dose. You remember what your dose was?
It's probably 1 cc.
1 cc a week. Yeah, it's
Everything,
pretty low.
or 2 times a week.
2 times a week, yeah, because it's a fast. Well, you're probably doing acetate, which is a fast one. They make
And that depends
fast
on
acting
like,
and slow acting.
like how
Tren A. It was
that,
Tren A.
that has to do with like what's it called?
The esters. So yeah, so the esters. So certain even tests, like they make test propionate, which is in and out of your system in 2 days. The half life on it's 48 hours, and then they have cypionate and ethanate, which one is 14 and one 16 days. I can't remember exactly which
Real
one.
quick, when you talk about what's that difference between half life and between in and out of your system in 48 hours? Because when you say in and out of your system in 2 days,
It's the
but also
half-life.
half-life
Yeah,
is 2 days?
it's the same. Yeah.
So like your max peak is 24 hours. At 48 hours, it's gone.
Yeah,
The
correct.
results, whatever you're getting from it is gone.
Yeah,
Correct.
that's
I
why
understand
normally
that.
like so when I'm like bulking right now,
Yeah.
I only shoot up like 2 times a week.
Okay.
Rather than when I'm cutting, it's like 3 times because then it's already
for
absorbing.
for testosterone or for
Or
anything?
everything.
For
everything.
everything. So
Yeah.
are you shooting everything at the same time?
I actually
Gotcha.
microdose daily, which is so. Yeah, I shoot every day no matter what.
You're the scariest
Is
motherfucker.
this
ever.
mushrooms right
Yeah,
now?
so I'll tell you why. So, a couple things with microdosing daily is when you have a large, like a lot of people do tests once a week, so they have this huge spike in test, right? And then so the estrogen spike's high, and then you have this drip, and then the estrogen dips, and you have this roller coaster. Well, if you do daily, it keeps it at a consistent level all the time, so they stay stable. So you end up with less side effects that way. So that's why I do daily. Even when you have something with like a 14-day half-life, like Test C, it's still going to have your peak and your and your decline. When it's there,
So when you talk about that, like when you say like you're gonna have less side effects because you're doing it daily,
Yeah.
but what is that doing to your what's the word I'm looking for? Like, what is that doing with your result to like I need more? Like for instance, if I do let's just say a fucking what's a normal fucking 1 cc. So if I cut it down to quarter cc and I do that daily, quarter, am I gonna need a half a cc 2 weeks later?
No, you take the same amount. It's just spread out throughout the week. So instead of taking, let's say you were to take, so I hate CCs because you don't know what the milligrams is.
yeah.
So let's just say you're taking 500, or we'll make the math easy. Let's say you're taking 700 tests, right? And it's instead of taking one shot with 700 tests, you're taking one shot every day with 100 tests. So it all adds up to the same. It just keeps your hormone levels equal.
So, but does your body ever say like, hey, look, if you want to get more results, you need to bump this?
Sure. No faster or slower than it would if you were taking one a day.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I mean, sure. Yeah, you get to a point where you start to plateau and you're getting diminishing returns.
So is it better to plateau and then stop and cycle down?
Yeah,
or is it better to boost?
No, so that's what we were talking about before, where you're like, okay, I'm taking 700 tests, and then eventually the body caught up with me and says, okay, we're not going to get a whole lot more progress off this. Let's cycle off. We'll clean out. We'll make sure we're healthy. Let the body re-regulate down, and then go back up to 700 tests.
All right, so I do remember us talking about that. How long is that cycle off of that process?
Depends on the person. Depends on like your blood work and what it looks like, how fucked up it is. For most, and that also depends on the compounds that you took during your cycle. So if you take a lot of Tren, your shit's gonna be fucked up. You're gonna need to take more time off. If you're taking like more mild compounds like Primo, you could probably get away with 4 to 6 weeks off instead of 8 to 12 weeks off or something.
So this is interesting because this is where it comes into like what people know versus like the research that's out there and what's available. Like let's say I'm taking tests and let's say I'm doing what'd you say 1 cc.
Let's just say
700
you're doing 700 milligrams. Yep.
All right. So let's just say I'm doing 700 milligrams. I'm taking 100 milligrams per day for 7 days.
Yep.
Right. And then I bump in fucking Tren.
Sure.
And I do Tren, let's say once a week.
Well, you probably have to do it more than once. But yeah,
More than
go
once
ahead.
a
Yeah,
week.
because it's so
but-
fast.
Yeah. But so
Probably 3.
Yeah.
Probably 3
3
times
for
a week.
acetate.
So
I would
then,
say
like,
2 for
after-
testy.
and this is where
Yeah,
like
because I did test day or Trena.
So let me ask you this, because this is where it gets complicated for the regular person.
Sure.
Right? Like, so if I'm doing Tren and I'm doing tests and I'm doing even anything else like fucking, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there's so many, Winnie or anything else that's out there. There's nowhere to really go where you can say like, hey, look, if you start off at fucking test and you're doing 1 shot a day because you're trying to fucking equal it out, and then you're doing Tren because you're doing it 3 times a week, and then you're doing this, like there's nothing that says like, hey, if you're doing this and this comes up, look out for this. Would you say like, what I guess I'm asking you guys is, in your experience, where did you find most of the data? Was it from your own testing based off of what you guys were giving yourselves and based off the results you were seeing and based off the actions? Or were you taking more feedback off of third parties? And I ask that because it doesn't seem there's a good third party option out there to get a lot of information. So, and with so much of it detailing based off of you individually, like I feel like it's kind of like you're experimenting on yourself on a daily basis.
Yeah. I
mean, yeah, just because everybody's body's different.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's where your coach comes in handy, and having a good, knowledgeable coach. Because, like, for me, that was when I went with Morgan, we would watch. I'd pay attention to what blood work he'd have me run, and then we'd run different cycles of different things, and then certain things would be fucked up, and I'd say, "Oh shit, okay, well my cholesterol is fucked up when I take this, so I better." That's something I have to watch out for. And you can go online and watch videos of like side effects of steroids and what to look out for. You can type in pretty much any steroid side effects, and if you'll be able to see liver kidney function elevation, you'll be able to see prostate, you'll be able to see all the things that you had said, but not all of them do all those things. So you look at the one that you're taking, and then you say, okay, in whatever 16 weeks, I'm going to pull my blood work, I'm going to see where these things are at, and then I'm going to come off, fix them, go back again. So
how often are you getting blood work?
I do it usually four or five times a year. Usually,
Yeah,
So,
I usually do it every 3 months.
yeah, every 3 months is a great way.
So
to
do you guys have specific places you guys like to go to have your blood work done? Do you like to have it consistently at the same place, or do you guys work with multiple companies? Because you look at like PH Fitness or PH Performance is one that's local here in Medina now.
that's the one in Craig's gym, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
just
they're really
came to
good.
Craig's gym. There's also there's one that just opened up in Akron. I can't remember what it is. I'm actually hoping to get them on the show. But is there places that you recommend having your blood work where like you're getting more than like just going to your regular doctor?
Any of those clinics, they'll have like panels that you can just pick.
Yeah.
My doc's pretty cool. I just give him a list. I literally can go on my chart, text him, hey, order these labs, and then he'll order them, and then I'll just go get them. So he's really cool. If you have a good relationship with your doctor, sometimes they can fudge it through insurance too, so you don't have to like pay for it, which is nice. Especially if your shit's fucked up, and then they're like, oh, we need to monitor this. So then, oh yeah. So yeah, they don't question you when you're like, oh, we got to pull his lipids again or whatever. So see where his heart's at. I also get an echocardiogram every 3 years, and then I get calcium score and EKG. So those are the things that I do for my heart because my family is prone to heart problems. So I want to make sure that my heart's not getting enlarged, and I want to make sure that so high cholesterol a lot of times, which I often have in my blood work, is high cholesterol, but my calcium score comes back good. So what that means is cholesterol doesn't necessarily mean you have heart problems. It means that you're more prone to heart problems. If you have a good calcium score, then that means that there's no buildup. So that's what you want to look out for. So that's where having a doctor, having a good knowledgeable coach all come together to keep you healthy.
Well, and I think that comes like not just from the bodybuilder standpoint, but from like a regular
anybody.
person's
Yeah.
like one, knowing your family history is important, but two, like knowing your own blood work, what it is, what it means, and how it's going to affect you is important. And it goes into overall health. Like people need to start taking more of their overall health into consideration when it comes to not just how I look, but how I feel, but also like what blood means, what this means, what these test results mean. So I think that's all important. And it's interesting because when people think of bodybuilders, they don't think of them as being the most concerned about their health.
No.
They think they're like, oh, these guys are
They're
just
gonna
wanna
die
be
early 'cause they took
jacked
all this
up
shit,
and
yeah.
fucking be built, but obviously there's a lot more to it, and you guys are probably taking that more into consideration than a lot of other people are.
For sure. And I'll give you my take on trend too. So that being said, when you do take different drugs, you want to take the ones that aren't going to cause you the most problems, right? Like that's like the goal. You want to do the most with the least. So for a compound like Tren, I only ever take Trenbolone during contest prep, and that's what Brandon's only ever taken it for too. And this one time they took it because it's very, very effective at making your body not go catabolic. People a lot of times you hear online they'll talk about Tren, the gains, and I got so strong and I got this. It's like kind of like Winnie, but times a million as far as like strength and performance goes. When you're eating in a surplus, Brandon didn't get a lot of that effect from it because he was eating in a deficit and he was cutting, so he wasn't going to get the huge strength gains and the huge because he just didn't have the food to support it. But if you take it in the off season, you will get that, but you can't, in my opinion, I wouldn't put somebody on Tren in the off season then also put them on Tren in prep. Like it's too much Tren. So because it's one of the hardest steroids.
Tren's scary as fuck.
Yeah, dude.
You're saying.
On
Yeah.
the liver, especially.
Yeah, it's really, really hard on your liver. Really, really hard on your liver and your kidneys, and it offers the most side effects. And he took a pretty low dose, but yeah, it's most effective during prep for making sure your body doesn't go catabolic. But that's what like all these kids want to take, dude. They're like, oh, I'm taking test and Tren, I'm just going to get huge. It's like, dude, you don't understand. You're taking the hardest body drug for your body, and you're not eating, you're drinking, you're doing all this shit. So, and imagine that. Okay.
Well, I was gonna say that's the
like
other thing.
basically
Like,
stating instead of like smoking weed, you're about to do heroin.
Yes, that's
well,
exactly
I was
what it
just gonna
is.
say
Yeah.
because like I'm sitting here, I'm drinking bourbon.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, well, if I was doing trend, like, I would
That would be a
not be fucking
bad idea.
drinking this.
We're
because
not
if
even
it's
taking trend. We
bad-
ain't drinking.
Might as well
Yeah,
drink
like,
some
if it-
bleach.
Yeah.
Right.
Have a
If
Tide
it's
Pod
bad
in
on
it,
my
yeah.
liver already, why would I fucking want to antagonize that? And you're right. And they don't get that information. No. And that goes to the
But
point.
it's cool, you know?
Well, and it goes back to the point of the whole podcast is like when you're talking about information for young men, right? And they're like, I want to do this, I want to do this. There's not solid information where they could be like, hey, look, yes, this is the benefit, but this is what you absolutely need to make sure you're not doing while you're doing this, or why you're doing this while you're doing that. And I think that you guys both added some pretty important information. Like, this is the most gnarly shit you could do if you were doing steroids. Out of all the steroids that are out there, this is the most gnarly. And we only fuck with it fucking like 6 to 8 weeks out of the year. And when we do, like, we don't do this, we don't do this, we don't do that.
Such a short duration.
Like, it's fucking, there's a lot of fucking restrictions you guys give yourselves to when you're around it because you know how bad it is for your body.
Yeah, Trenbolone, Halo, Ment, and oral Superdrol are like the four hardest things.
Yeah.
Halo is really bad for you too. So that's one that you would only take for a very short period of time as well. Usually, what Halo would you take for like 4 weeks or 6 weeks max?
Yeah, probably 6.
Yeah. So yeah, that's another one. That's a lot of fighters take Halo. It's super. That's one that's known for aggression, and it makes you very strong and kind of gives you that like sixth gear to where you can just keep going. It's really, really effective in prep because you're able to push through these workouts and stuff.
So we talked about a lot of the, and we're gonna wrap this up here.
Yeah,
tonight,
sorry.
but that's okay.
Tell you all about these things.
Did you guys? Was there ever side effects where like they were so negative you're like, I should not do this ever again? Or did you ever hear about, you know, they talk about like the fucking side effects of fucking being angry and
The
roid
roid
rage,
rage, yeah.
and fucking all these things? Did you ever?
Yeah, like the roid rage thing. Sorry to cut you off.
No, take it away.
But like I said before, it's all fucking mental, right? Like people will be like, "Oh, roid rage is right." I'm like, "No, it's just because I didn't fucking eat in 4 hours."
Correct.
It's just like if your freaking woman wakes up, you know not to fucking talk to her until she has her fucking coffee or if she eats. I mean,
That's 100% right.
Yeah, you're right,
Like,
though.
I'm 100% like one time on a prep, I was a complete fucking dick for like 10 fucking weeks. But then I learned from that because it was all mental. I was lack of carbs, doing all that cardio.
You're probably natural too, right?
No,
No,
that was my first show
first
that
show.
I actually did the stuff, so I could see how roid rage would take place. But then I learned from that one. So for my next show, I knew it was all mental. So I was completely good for until like 2 weeks out.
And it goes into like the aspect of what's the word I'm looking for? Like when people take Adderall, things like that. Like, you know that you act. Your brain thinks differently
I love
when you're
Adderall, by
on
the
some
way.
of yeah.
I
Adderall's
can't
fucking
take it anymore. But that was
fucking
like
amazing.
the only. I never did really
No.
recreational drugs,
Never done it.
Never,
but-
you've never done Adderall,
bro. You're missing out.
Never had a dad either.
Fuck yeah.
That's funny to you.
No, dude, I've never done coke. I've never done any other drugs other than smoke pot and Adderall and steroids. But I don't do Adderall.
So I've done coke, crack, Adderall, 100%.
The best.
The best.
Bro, yeah.
But there's 100% a difference in the way that you react and the way that you talk to people. Like, everybody's stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
You're so much
you
smarter than
literally-
everybody. Yeah.
You're just like, how do you not fucking understand what the word I'm saying right now?
It's like a performance enhancement drug for your brain.
Yeah, it is.
I
It
would
is.
take it when I would play these high level card tournaments. That's what I would take, and I would do so well.
Well, it's like the conversation we're having tonight. Like, you're talking about how you handle your show prep and you handle your show prep and the way that you guys handle steroids. And it'd be like me walking up to you while you're in the middle of a fucking workout and being like, hey guys, steroids are bad. And you'd be like,
Okay.
fuck yeah. Like, there's like no emotional aspect to it. Like, you're just fucking smarter than everybody.
I think roid rage in general is like a myth. I really think
Yeah.
it is. I think that
Just to give it a bad name.
it's just to give it a bad name. Yeah, I don't think that people actually get roid rage. I think, like you said, you get hangry in prep. I've never taken any drug where I felt like it altered my personality. My wife would tell you the same thing. You know, it just people that are fucked up anyways. They're just stronger and able to do more. So like I look at like Chris
Short
Benoit,
bus,
right?
short bus.
So Chris Benoit went and killed his fucking whole family or whatever, and they're like steroids, and I'm like, no, dude, he was just a fucking psychopath. You know what I mean? Like, that's what he was. He didn't have to do the steroids. He just was crazy. You know, so yeah. So I wouldn't. You know, the people that they claim roid rage for, it's just like a thing, and it sucks too because like when you're a big guy like me and Brandon, you kind of get like this stigma that like anything that you do, like if you get mad about something, oh, that's roid rage. It's like, no, dude, I'm just pissed off because you're a fucking asshole. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
that's 100% fact though.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's just everybody in general. Even when I'm not on steroids, like if I'm bigger than the guy that I'm fucking talking to and I get angry about something, they're like, oh, fucking you're roiding out. Like,
dude.
I'm not even on steroids. What are you fucking talking about?
You go to the bar, everyone wants to fucking fight you, dude, and you're just like, I don't like fighting, dude. I just like to lift weights. Like, why would you? It happens. One time I had a thing where like someone made a false claim that my wife beat me or whatever. And if you ever met my wife, she's like
the sweetest person ever.
Sweetest person. Well, I don't know about that, but she
unless you're fucking making her ass.
Yeah, she probably could kick my ass, but like you look, and I had to go to court or whatever, and they're like, "This is the girl that beat you," and I'm like, yeah, she didn't actually beat me, and they're like, oh, okay, go ahead. You know, it was long story short. My baby mama wanted like a weekend, and I wouldn't give it to her, so she filed for emergency custody. And this is a crazy story. I'm sorry, I know you want to wrap up, so I'll make it quick. But she filed for emergency custody with, she knew like the counselor, and they said that that my wife was beating me, so my household was not safe. And so I got a letter in the mail saying I didn't know how to rights to my kid, so I had to go to court, I had to hire an attorney, whatever. We went there. It was actually, dude, we had a guardian ad litem, all this shit, whatever. Two child services investigations opened. Nothing happened from it, of course, because and then. I actually got an extra day worth of visitation and my child support lowered, so it worked out great.
Hey, waiting for dad.
Waiting for dad, yeah. But it was crazy. Like we were looking at like we were telling people this story, and they're like, "Are you fucking serious? Like you're 250 pounds, she's 120 pounds. Like this could happen. Like she better have a gun."
I like very kinky sex.
Yeah.
Well, that's like I had this aspect where my fucking ex did like something stupid and fucking like in front at my daughter's like dance competition or something, and they're like, so I was like, you know what? I had to play it smart as the father. You all know you gotta play it fucking smart.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, look, this is a scenario that happened. And like, were you endangered? Was your life endangered? I was like, no, she's fucking 130 pounds. Like, she's not gonna fucking kill me, fucking strangling me. And they're like, oh, so you weren't in fear for your life? I'm like, no, motherfucker. Jesus, that's what it takes. Like, God, I had to be in fear for my fucking life if she had a fucking knife to my fucking throat, but I wasn't afraid of her because she was 120 pounds. But whatever the case.
It's crazy.
Evan, David, you guys got anything else to finish tonight?
No, I don't
Any
have
baby
anything.
mama stories or anything? That's what we're finishing with.
Shit.
2 paternity suits. I beat them both.
Nice.
Pulling out like a champ.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Pulling out. That's right.
Always, oh man, always when I pull it, I'm a little dead ass. I'm always like, there goes that basketball player.
I have a vasectomy now, but I'm married.
Wait,
obviously,
did you have the vasectomy already?
Recently, dude. That was a fucking horrible experience, by the way.
So that's why you said dick between your legs.
Yeah, my wife made me get one, and she had that the IUD thing, and she said after 10 years you have to get one. I'm like, okay, this was 10 years ago. I'm like, fuck, 10 years is up. So I'm like, we're not even gonna make it 10 years. Man. Fuck, so crazy experience doing that. Actually, when I did it, I was like dreading it, and I had to go in for like a pre consultation, and then they grabbed my balls and said, yeah, you're good. So
Where are they at?
yeah. These are smaller than normal. Like, yeah, don't fucking worry about it. So can you work on it or not?
Frank looks bigger, goddamn.
Yeah. So she's like, we'll see you in a month. I'm like, a month? I can't fucking think about this for a month. Like, get me in now. And she's like, all right, how about Friday? I'm like, cool. So we go in. This was during the Browns season last year when Flacco was fucking balling out.
Yeah.
I get in there, dude. This fucking dude, yeah, that's funny. Yeah, this dude gets me. He's like, hi, my name's.
The dude comes.
Yeah, he's like, dude,
can this get any better?
Dude, this is ridiculous. The guy's name's Frank. He's like, hey, I'm gonna be your nurse today. I'm like, cool. He's like, we're gonna get real close. I'm gonna wash your balls later. I'm like, oh, all right, Frank. So he's telling me about what they're gonna do. Dude, I'm fucking nervous, sweating, dude. I'm like, fuck. He's like, I'll put some music on to make it good.
Katy Perry
Who let the dogs out?
He's like, what do you want to listen to? And I was like, I don't care, Frank. Put whatever you want on. He's like, do you like classic rock? I'm like, sure. So I got fucking Van Halen playing. I got Frank and some big old lady washing my nuts. with like this icy hot solution, dude. It was fucking horrible. And then the doctor comes in and like, dude, there's no curtain, no nothing, bro. You can look down and your nuts are out there and they're about to cut it open. So I'm just in this chair. I got my regular t-shirt on. I don't even have a fucking gown, you know what I mean? And so so we get in there, the doctor comes in, he's like, I'm gonna take care of you, whatever, blah, blah. And he's starting to work or whatever. And he's like, he's down there and you can feel him cut it open. First they stick you with a shot, right? And right in your nutsack. And then which hurts. And then they
No shit.
yeah. Then they cut you open, but you could feel it, but it doesn't hurt. But you can feel like them dragging on you, and then they get some tugging in your stomach, right? So he's fucking working on me, bro. And he's like, and they have to do one side, and then they go to the other side, and they have to do it again, which is fucking horrible. It only takes 20 minutes, but it's fucking 20 minutes from hell.
I was gonna say you just took 30 minutes to describe it. It's like I'm like, fuck this,
dude.
This is not happening.
So he's working on it, and he's like, man, how
Is he jerking you off? Why
yeah,
are you
dude. He's
like
like
this?
one hand like this. Yeah. So they can make sure it worked, dude. So clean the pipes. So he's like, how about them Browns, man? Flacco's killing it. Huh? And I'm like,
You instantly get hard.
dude, I was like, how about you worry about the fuck you're doing, dude? I like went off with this dude. He's like, he's like, we go balls to the wall here and like start packing ball jokes.
He's just straight.
Yeah.
He's just straight.
This dude is fucking trolling
He's got like
me,
a
bro.
list. He's like, I got 8 jokes.
He's fucking trolling me this whole time. Like, fuck. So they do it, whatever. And I walk out, my wife was as bad as they thought it was. And I was like, yeah. Because I fucking milked that shit for like 2 weeks. I'm like, yeah, you gotta, I'm on the couch. I can't do nothing. You gotta make my meals. You gotta do this, whatever. So, that was actually pretty quick recovery.
I was going to say, my friend had his done, and he's like, I got ice on my balls all week.
The
and I
peas,
couldn't
bro.
move-
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Dude, yeah, it was bad.
I'd make it worse. I'd make it as bad. You're right. You know what? For every time my wife ever asked me for a fucking massage, like, oh, my shoulders are sore, can you just give me I would be like, you know
Kurtz,
what?
give me a blowjob.
I am gonna fucking write on 30 minutes and then just add that to the day I get a vasectomy, so I can be like, yeah, you owe me 17 hours of fucking massages.
Massage. Yeah.
Because not only did I have to have my balls fucking snipped, but then I had to listen to this fucking guy sitting there on the other
Well, and then
table
you can't
talking
fuck-
about who let the dogs out.
You can't fuck or jack off or anything for like a week. Like the whole week. So, like you can't do nothing. So you're just fucking.
out.
Yeah, that's yeah.
He's like, I'm out.
Yeah, Brandon wouldn't make it out the room. So
Why do you think it took me a couple minutes to get down here?
but I would often thought though, like if I was single and I had this procedure done, dude, I would just fucking nut in chicks and just like not tell them. You know what I mean? And just like, oh man, I hope you don't get pregnant. Yeah, that'd be a funny joke. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
We're gonna have a basketball player.
Oh shit, I don't think I pulled out. And they're like, what? I'm like, that'd be funny. I would do
David,
that.
Evan, you guys got anything else to add tonight?
I'm good.
Yeah, that's a good story to
Brandon,
finish
you got
on.
anybody else to finish off on?
No, man, I'm good.
No, you sure you don't want to fucking finish off on one?
Yeah.
All right, hey, good night, everybody.